let me tell you something. Hey chat, how's it going? How's it going? Look, look. Look. You all have been so supportive of me that I finally made it. I'm finally a big time streamer. Look at this is my beautiful high-rise apartment that I live in now. Look at this shit. I really made it. I really fucking made it. Are you proud of me, chat? Like this is what success is doing. This is what all those donations and all just kidding, chat. Oh my god. Yeah, I moved to Chicago. What's up? What's up? Yeah. Right? Oh my god, I'm silly. How's everybody doing? Big city, that's right. I made it big time. I'm a big streamer now. That's what you do is you move to Chicago, like when you're a big streamer. Not LA. Not New York, but Chicago. Chicago, that's the place. I don't even know. We did it, Reddit. Yes. Wait, Reddit's been supporting? Actually, there are some Reddits that are really nice to me. That's the weirdest thing, too, because, like, I have been abused. I have been abused by Redditors before, especially this motherfucker's Reddit and Vosh's Reddit. Those are the worst. I mean, not all, I shouldn't say it. Like, there's people on those that like me, too, right? But, I've gotten some hate there on the, DGG, VGG side of things. Holy shit, those Redditors. I shouldn't even talk, right? Because you're not supposed to talk shit about a subreddit. So I'm not talking about a certain subreddit. Don't worry, subreddit. There's simps for subreddits. Do you know about this, chat? Subreddit. Wait, why am I not? I'm not showing you the right chat, or am I? I'm not showing yourself. You don't recognize yourself yet. We need to do the mirror stage with chat, okay? You need to self-recognition, I think, is part of it. How does that work? We refresh the chat, and the chat gets what happens to it gets refreshed. That's what it happens to the chat. That's what happens, chat. It gets refreshed. Just like me, after, moving into this, high-rise apartments, luxury living, I can already feel myself refreshed, already. Redditors can be really hateful and dishonest. Sad times. Oh my god. Oh my god. I stopped visiting it's almost fan fiction too, right? The shit that'll get going there. And it's like the kind of, I don't know. I've never participated. If they do a hate thread on me, I'm like nowhere to be seen. Like I'm not on there trying to push back. Like I feel like that just fans the flames, right? It's a rainy Chicago. I don't know. Is it? Maybe it's not really raining in Chicago right now. Maybe you all know that I'm full of shit and I am not quite as well off as the background makes it seem. This is a pretty good background though, right? This is pretty convincing. You stopped visiting Destiny subreddit some time ago. Finally left the subreddit a few weeks ago. Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, we got fucking Destiny for you. Unfortunately, I haven't covered a Destiny in a long time. I feel like a lot of you are over Destiny, and I'm over Destiny. A lot of times Destiny just like makes me sick at my stomach. This time Destiny was one of the competitors for the Hippy Dippy Championship, right? The quasi wrestling event of debate supremacy. This is this is peak dominance paradigm right here, right? Because that's what you want to do. You want to come in and you want to dominate, okay? So I guess it came down to Destiny and actual Jake, who I haven't covered a lot. Contrary to what the dossier might have you believe. They might have you believe that I'm really interested in actual Jake. Let me be honest, okay? I watched Hannah and Jake, like, back in the day. I haven't kept up with Jake. I don't actually know, like, what has been going on with Jake. And maybe we just don't travel in the same circles or something, right? I'm really ignorant. All I know about Jake is he's funny and he wears a corn outfit, okay? So I'm not really coming into this with any kind of preconceptions about Jake. I got crapped on. Oh no, wait, that was on DGG? Are you sure it wasn't VGG? That sounds like a VGG thing. Yeah, dude, those Redditors are mean. They're super meanie butts, but I'm not saying which subreddit, so you can just, like, So all you subreddit simps can chill, because the subreddit simps are simps for a certain subreddit. They're not. I've never met any Reddit simps though. That would be scary if I got Reddit simps on me. She's talking shit about Reddit, and they'd literally do the soy face, like the soy face redditor, you know. The championship, yeah, I guess. So the RGR came up. RGR came up again, this fucking cursed discourse, and I mean, I guess it makes sense. You're on Dylan's show, you're talking to Destiny. I guess it makes sense that the RGR hot topic of the moment, which hopefully will like cool down now, hopefully will chill the fuck out, right? Because I'm so sick of covering RGR. I swear to God. I swear to God. But sometimes it feels like the content like tells me what to do. Like I have to, I'm guided by the force of content or something. I don't know. Is that why, the reason, yeah. Does anybody want to explain, any actual Jake fans in here want to explain the corn thing? I mean, I'm willing to just not question it. I like that a dude has a corn suit. I legitimately like that a dude has a corn suit. I wish people would do more cosplay, right? So streaming, like, I don't know if you know this, but we're not using all the potential of the platform, okay? I'm sitting here talking to you about the discourse, about things, about streamers and personalities, right? That's a thing, okay. But like, is that all I can do? No. Anything you could do in performance art, you can do in streaming. Now, obviously, it's going to work a little different with streaming, right? And as an artist, as an artiste, as a dilettante, as they say, I'm well aware of that, right? But yeah, I feel like more people should do more fun, wacky stuff. I like that. I'm generally in favor of fun, wacky stuff, right? Stone Ocean opening, yes! Oh my God. We should talk about that, though. We should talk about that. I feel like, though, there's people that are here for the debate specifically, and they don't have a lot of patience, so we should get to the debate proper. But yeah, maybe this afternoon on Twitch, we can look at, there's a whole, they did like a, there was like some kind of stream that went on, like, right? And I think it's some of the voice actresses, like the voice actress for Jolene, you know, the same people that did the thing before. I think they had another talk, and yeah, they released an OP. And listen, I was a little bit, I'll be honest, chat. Like, the trailers I saw were underwhelming, okay? I mean, they weren't horrible, but there was, you know, they weren't great either, right? And the theme song that I heard was, I mean, right? But the same thing happened with Golden Wind, right? The first thing that they came out with as, like, you know, there was some song in the trailer, right? I mean, it was okay, but it was just like general, like, James Bond spy kind of vibe, right? And when they actually made the real music for Vento Aureo, for Golden Wind, right, it was so much better. So I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, the OP I saw was like amazing. Actually kind of had some vibes from, oh my God, I'm talking about JoJo here. I'm not sure all of you are interested. Fallout from Sophie defending MLs after Vosh's comments. Yeah, I did. And the only reason I'm not getting involved in that is because there's some toxic people that were like calling Sophie out that I don't want to have anything to do with, okay? But yeah, Sophie's been undergoing a lot of harassment, and it's not fucking cool. Like, Sophie was not fucking, I don't know, people are like acting like Sophie's like, yo, Stalin's fucking, no, that's not what she said. That is not what she said. And anybody coming at her with that shit is fucking ignorant, okay? Like, I'm not friends with Soph. I don't have any, you know, horse in this race. But she didn't do anything wrong. And Vosh's take is super reductive. Vosh's take is just like the worst kind of leftist infighting, I think. It just reduces everything down to like, okay, you're either with Stalin or you're like a fucking rad lib. I don't know. I don't want either of those, right? going on with Curio's just being like, so Curio, Vosh had a take that was, oh my god, well maybe we should have covered this instead. Maybe I completely like missed the subject that is of interest to people, because this is interesting too, right? It's just more of a Twitter drama. Okay, here's what we'll do. How about this, chat? We'll do the debate. We'll try to stick to the RGR stuff, because I don't really want to watch Destiny. I don't have any desire to watch Destiny. And then after that, we'll take a look at, I don't know, I almost want to make 2 videos of this now, right? Because like this is interesting stuff, and it's important stuff. And when I feel like somebody's being attacked unjustly, as they myself is right now, I want to say something. I want to always say something, and it doesn't matter if I'm friends with the person, I'm not friends with the person, you know, like even if like with Demon Mama, where, you know, we've got some bad blood between us, right? When Demon Mama's getting attacked, I want to be there to defend her, right? I want to be the person that you know, that lives by my values, that doesn't live by my, you know, social network or whatever, right? I want to be real. They make great content and do good work. Yeah, I love their work. I love their work. Absolutely. Authoritarian criticism of Soph before. Well, it's the whole thing. If you like, hey, I mean, like she said that wasn't all she said, like basically not all MLs are bad, not all MLs are tankies, right? She makes much more in-depth content. There's a lot to criticize about MLs. That's true. Yeah, but when an anarchist defends those guys from a rad lib, it must be a huge shit show. Yeah, it did get to be a huge shit show, and there's some fucking suspects in there that are like people that have gone after me disingenuously too, right? So I massively sympathize with Soph on this, right? As somebody that's been a victim of similar like disinformation campaigns, right? Have I? Oh yeah, I got tagged as a tanky once when I had Mel on. In fact, people were like saying I was okay with the Uyghur genocide or something, which, you know, like I wasn't, and I'm not, and I don't know where they got that, but I swear to God, yeah, I think they were just trying to cancel Mel, right? And like, I don't always agree with Mel, but I don't think her takes are any more dangerous than, like, look at Infrared, for instance. These assholes brought on Infrared, who openly and unambiguously to Destiny denied, you know, the existence, like, basically said those Uyghurs are terrorists and they deserve to be, like, really bad. Like, basically, like, Haas's take would justify Guantanamo. Haas's take would justify Guantanamo, right? Would justify Guantanamo, because like would justify how Guantanamo was used. Now people think Guantanamo, this is the worst of the worst. These are the real hardcore terrorists that are in Guantanamo. Sure, there's probably some of those, but there's also people that are Afghani farmers that got fucked by their next door neighbor who had a grudge against them and said, yeah, the fucking Taliban dude, the fucking Al-Qaeda guy, he's right over there. So yeah, like, you know, like, and same deal with, like, you know, I mean, I don't know. That take from Haas was terrible, and nobody gave a fuck. They brought him on. They go, ha ha, funny tanky man, make loud noise, ha ha, 2 holes, you know what I mean? It's like a whole different, I almost feel like it's a different set of standards for femme streamers. That's almost what it feels like. That's almost what it feels like at this point. If you are a femme, if you are especially a trans femme, you got a whole nother standard applied to you, right? That nobody else has to deal with. Gotta take Mel for what she said. She's a shit poster. I mean, that's probably true. That's probably true, right? But yeah, this is, yeah, we'll get through this, and I guess, I don't know, I'll figure out a way to cover, thank you everybody for being here, like, rah, rah. I love to see the chat full when I start out, and I'm going to get to the content. All of you are waiting for the debate. This is the thing, I've got 2 audiences. I've got my live audience, and you want to talk about stuff, and then I've got my, audience that's just here for this particular debate. So let's take a look and see what we have. We might fast forward heavily through this, because...
And that this tonight...
I mean, I don't know if you know this, chat, but this debate shit is getting really old for me, okay? I still want to cover the discourse. I still want to cover, you know, when somebody's getting fucked over. Like, I still want to be there for them, but I want to move away from the debate sphere, right? I just feel like it's so toxic, it's so disgusting, and there's got to be a better way to to cover this, right? Like, I just want to give you discourse without like the toxicity, if I can. Authoritarian, bad. Some comrades, good. Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't like agree with Marxist Leninism. Like, I myself am not, I'm not there. But I do know Marxist Leninists who I think are good people and who are not, big on standing authoritarian governments just because they're not the United States, right? So. Wait, who loves to fillet? Oh my god, there's fillet show in chat. Rar. We can give the debate audience a timestamp. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. We'll do that. Hey, debate audience, you got a timestamp, so you're probably switching to right here. Okay, so here's where...
Not only, of course, is it a grudge match, because I know both of you are not exactly fans of each other.
Wait, they're not fans of each other.
But it's also a cage match. Which that means is that both of you will have the ability, twice during tonight's debate, to say cage match. And what that'll mean is that
I gotta admit, Dylan's sound is a little better than mine. It's probably because he has a better mic. I think he has... Is it the M7 or the... Oh my god.
completely disengaged
M7B or something
for 3 minutes, and I will not moderate.
But it's only somewhat. No, it's better than mine.
Whatsoever.
I'll admit it.
Do you think that
I'll admit Dylan's audio's better.
Contacting the Maryland bar and saying, "Hey,
here we
this
go.
person
Here we go.
Needs to not work."
Wait. Was the maybe this is just the intro?
You guys
after saying publicly several times.
Oh, you would like to live stream it? You don't have the time or means to do it. Yeah, no, I understand how that that could be. The first time I live streamed, listen, I was planning to go on at like 9 o'clock or something. I got nervous and I didn't go on till like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was just like, I can't. You know what I mean? I was just scared
that this person was a pedophile. Yeah, I think there's I'm
gonna do a personal thing. We're gonna
bail.
Cage match.
In New York, the hogs will find you.
Do you think that
whenever
you could always try VTubing?
You have a situation in which
there's always VTubing. That's maybe a safer way to do it. Some people even do it with a voice mod. Some people might even talk excessively about umbrellas and deny being a Momo doll, right? You know, that's all real.
And it's not just women; it's everybody, but specifically women. You tend to have a problem with like just harassment campaigns, like attacking.
What's up, Speedy Noob?
People. Like you specifically said in those logs, I attack Bad Bunny and.
I used to like RGR, but when she went full anti-kink, oh my god, yeah, TradCon basically. When do we get a ladder or a table match? Oh wait, so this is like a... Wait, is this a cage match or a chair match? Oh, they get a chair. Do they get a chair? So that means they can interrupt somebody, but it's only a limited number of time. VTubing, yeah, is safer. And I mean, you know, like Vroid, I think. If you want to just like... You know how you fuck around in a game to make a character? If you want to do that and make a VTuber, Vroid is your shit, right? It's pretty good. Some of the other ones get you started quicker because they have a lot of presets, but Vroid is good for like I want my VTuber to look like this or that. You know what I mean? If you want to be specific.
And I'm specifically because fuck them, like that
Punky
kind
Roo.
of shit. Like that's your mentality, and I think we.
Do you think that I only attack Bad Bunny and Denos because fuck them? Is that one line where you're gonna ignore the entire history that I have with these two people?
When did Destiny and Denims get on the opposite side? I thought Denims was kind of middle of the road. Was kind of okay for Destiny, right? Destiny hates Denims too.
Just so you know, you're wandering into like another huge minefield that you obviously don't know anything.
The chair thing is on Danimo's panel. This is
really
the cage
not
thing.
that big of a minefield.
Yeah, okay, sure. Well, which one do you want to talk with first?
Is Jake wrong here? Wait, is he wrong? Wait, what? I'm sorry. Wait, what is he wrong about? What? I'm sorry. I'm like so distracted because like I'm thinking about Danimo's panel and the cage match. Nicolas Cage in a cage match facing off against Russell Brand. Why is he facing off? That's not who's in Face Off, is it? It's not Russell Brand. Who's in Face Off? in my mind, it's legit Nicolas Cage versus Russell Brand. I know that's not for real though. That's not for real, is it? Yeah, and Russell Brand's like, here, you know, Nicholas, you gotta rub the furry wall, right? Do you remember that movie? Do you remember that? Like when they were in the cage match in Face Off, they had to rub the furry wall, stroke the furry wall.
Of course, you want to tackle.
Jake has a questionable takes, but I think that him and Destiny. Oh God, yeah, Jake is probably right.
Denims, or do you want to tackle?
Do we have to tackle either of them, and like
what brought
context?
them up?
So
let me just
pause quick.
Pause
quick. Okay.
Second cage match. I get two.
Burning them.
So you brought up two examples. Okay.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Wow, Dylan's suffering from no comment chick of 6 months ago syndrome. Like here I am giving Mr. Geek. Would it be Mr. Geek? I don't know who it is. Probably Mr. Geek. Like, you know, editing of advice. I'm sure Geek's been at it a lot longer than me. But I don't make my intros this long anymore. I do not make my intros this long anymore.
I want to welcome you both to the Hippy Dippy Championship. I hope tonight we're gonna have an interesting interaction.
It's John Travolta. Why do I think it's Russell Brand?
Sure.
And it is a championship match, meaning whoever wins tonight will be the Hippy.
Nicholas, have a puff of this Jeffrey. It's a Jeffrey. What is this, weed? Yes, and a few other things as well. All rolled into a spliff.
Included everything. And
that's what I remember Russell Brand for, is the Jeffrey.
That for everybody at home, we are
and
sponsored
the furry
by
wall.
Conflict of Nations, World War III.
Facey waist.
And if you want to support the channel, please scan the QR code that is on the left-hand bottom of the screen, and download the game on mobile and play it. It would support the channel a lot. And actual Jake has agreed that he'll burn the corn outfit.
Is there really a Hippy Dippy game?
If we get to 300 downloads.
Chat, is there really? There's not.
So
is
there's
there
something to take into consideration.
Is there a mobile game? Because if there is, they probably put a no comment chick in there as the enemy or something. If it's Dylan's mobile game, it's probably got me as the boss lady. Like and then I get killed, and then I turn, but you haven't seen my true form, NCC. Yeah, it's pretty scary. I turned into a mentally ill masturbator in the Dylan mobile game.
Destiny will stop playing. So now I'll give you both a small period of time to introduce yourself. We're going to start with the challenger, Actual Jake.
Hi, I'm Actual Jake.
I also, like, my stand cry is, Daddy. Daddy. Yeah.
That's sometimes I get called corn-gendered by Destiny. That's pretty cute. I do leftist politics on Twitch.
You stan.
We do a little bit of debate panel
You stand
stuff.
the Kush. Oh, yeah.
I'm usually pretty well known for both the silly corn suit that these people paid for me to be in moments ago, and then also
NCC is my boss.
You know,
oh my god! Don't anybody call me a girl boss though.
I also really
I legit got called a girl boss. I don't get it. I mean, like, I guess with this background, like, I'm gonna get called a girl boss a lot more. Like, right? The thing is, when people are jealous, they don't even like look into like what they're jealous about, and it's like, oh my god, I'm not the person you want to be jealous of, right?
Nice community.
I have not made it. I am not even close. Come on.
Usually when people stop by, they are impressed by the really chill atmosphere and stuff like that, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. Is you know, the idea of toxicity and how we manage our communities.
Oh my god, this is such a weird debate setup. Look at this. I mean,
and how I think Destiny is an abject failure.
People have made fun of me before when I streamed, and most of my face was like off the screen. Yeah.
In that regard.
My stand power, daddy's son. Yes, if you are actual father, you cringe in a time for 10 seconds. That's right, because I sexualize daddies every. Oh my god. No,
okay.
no,
Destiny, you can introduce yourself.
No, NCC. How could you?
I didn't want to talk to you. I wanted to talk to my stream actually, but I guess I'll talk to you as well. My name is Destiny. I do like center left, far left politics.
Gaslight, green screen, and girl boss. There we go. That's my one.
Far right, depending on who you are.
I wish I could girl boss. I can't even girl boss myself. Aren't girl bosses like put together and really organized and really like efficient and like just kind of like, you know, clout minded? Like, I'm like the opposite of I'm a girl bossed. I'm a girl bossy.
Been doing politics on Twitch for a long time, obviously, and here Today, I guess we're going to be talking about the different types of
I'm a girl employee.
toxicity that exists on Twitch.
I'm a girl associate.
And the reasonable amounts that we can control it.
I'm a girl independent contractor for Uber.
Control it. And what types of toxicity
I am not a girl boss.
Versus what types we should reject.
Wonderful. So, what
I thought girl boss. Well, I guess people think I'm a Karen. I don't know. If they think I was Karening my stalker, you know what I mean? Like that, I've heard that fucking take. I've had to listen to that garbage recently.
Doing tonight, there is one stipulation I've told neither of you leading up to this, and that's because, of course, I'm
a girl unpaid intern. A girl intern. There we go.
Tonight,
that's me.
Not only, of course, is it a grudge match because I know both of you are not exactly fans of each other.
I'm on the verge of making it. I know. I can feel it.
But it's also a cage match.
I can feel it.
Which that means is that both of you will have the ability twice during tonight's debate to say cage match, and what that'll mean is I will completely disengage for 3 minutes.
Oh.
And it will not moderate whatsoever.
Okay.
You can do this only twice, both of you, meaning there's only 4 available for the whole night. The rest of the rules usually apply, and of course, nothing against terms of service or my usual rules like no misgendered.
No daddy.
Anything like that.
Wait, can you say daddy? Okay, I don't know how it works, chat, because, like, here's how it worked, okay? So if you want to know the history, like, I'm going to tell you the whole history. Most people just start with WrestleBrania with me and Dylan. It went back before WrestleBrania. So when this started was when Dylan I was a small little panel, producer, right? A small little panel host, right? With my Bird Brains panel. And Dylan came onto my Bird Brains panel and he said, "No comment, chick. I will pay you. I will make it rain if I can own Bird Brains, if it can be part of the Dylan empire." And it seemed like a really good deal. I wasn't getting much money, I wasn't getting many subs, so I was like, okay, Dylan, we'll make a deal. And it turned out I just got burned by it. I got fucked by it, because when Dylan owns your stream, then basically the rules that he makes for the Hippy Dippy, those go into effect on your panel too. So when I was on his panel, I said, like, CTV was being incredibly pedantic to me, so I called him daddy as a joke, right? And he was like, I'm not comfortable. No, we're not gonna have any of that. That word's banned. So he bans daddy. Daddy gets banned on the Hippy Dippy, right? And because he owns my show too, it's banned on Bird Brains. I literally can't say daddy on Bird Brains. And this was like a huge problem for the longest time, because I always want to say daddy. What can I say? I have daddy issues, right? So, yeah, it was a huge problem. And then finally when he came on, and I pretty decisive victory there, right? And, so I say, I guess I get to say daddy. I guess I get my show back, right? That was the deal, is that if I won the debate, which he agreed that I did, I get Bird Brains back. So that's, when I could say daddy again, right? Papa, daddy, can you hear me? Papa, can you hear? Oh, no. Yeah, daddy got banned. Daddy got banned.
Of course.
No calling out the patriarchy, no comment, chick.
Sure.
So as long as you're not literally just using the opportunity to say the N-word, cage match applies.
So it's still banned from the Hippy Dippy then. I thought maybe I got it unbanned by beating Dylan, but oh well. I'll have to clap him again.
It's not been said before.
That's all there is to it.
Spice it up a little bit.
Dylan, if you're listening,
I'm gonna allow you both to have short intros of reasonable.
That rematch you always wanted? You might just get that.
Length. If you start doing essay time, okay. If it's long enough to be its own YouTube video, I'm gonna stop you. But you will have short periods of intros. I'm gonna let Jake go first since he's the challenger.
Sure.
Okay, so what are we introing?
I don't really have much for an intro because I'd rather just get into the topics and start talking.
Yeah, I know, right?
Pretty much, I think
that's what my chat feels too.
If you experience,
you clap Dylan's cheeks.
Twitch in any.
For some reason, a lot of people want to debate Dylan. I don't know. He's not. I mean, he's more of a debate host than a debator per se, right? I don't think that he's even really selling himself as like a first class debater, right?
Capacity.
Did I say class debater? I said class debater. Class debater.
Or even political Twitter, and often political YouTube.
Dylan gets clapped by the intern. That's right.
You'll find that Destiny and his community
You'd paid Dylan $300 to debate NCC. Oh my god, this might actually happen.
There, and often the reports that come back from that are not, a terribly.
Well, I heard he's spoiling for a rematch, so we'll see.
Glowing review. I think DGG and Destiny himself have a pretty well documented history of being both people and the community itself. Just a group you don't want to engage with because there's too much bullshit that goes along with it. Like right now,
Oh my God. Okay, so this is the debate bro discourse. There we are. Okay, so this is relevant. This is relevant to my interests. Wow. Go away, class baiting.
In my mentions on Twitter, and I'm sure at some point during the stream, unless DGG gets smart, I'll have people in here that are going to violate my chat terms. People on Twitter are often a little rabid, a little weird.
What Jake did do really well was market everyone who is his follower or supporter has his calling card. What? An ear of corn. That is, I guess that's great branding. I mean, this one's for Hana. Yeah, Jake and Hana, like, I've watched Jake and Hana a few times. I don't think I've ever watched just Jake, so I don't know what Jake's stream is like. Ironic, right? Because you'd think that I was like, you know, like if you believe certain sussy bakas, you'd think that I was obsessed with the guy, right?
And I that's not bad in and of.
I just he never really seemed like my cup of tea. No offense, right? Nothing wrong with him, but
self. The point is that it's very consistent within this community, within specifically DG.
And he definitely doesn't have like a history of toxicity the way that you know Destiny does. You know, agree or disagree with his takes, right?
And it's an example of the types of toxicity that these spaces often have to fight against. And where Destiny fails and where DGG fails because of him.
Dylan's gonna. Well, I mean, Dylan might have to. What is it, like high level ideas? What do you have to like?
Is because he doesn't offer any sort of like reasonable way.
What do you have to do again when you hear high level ideas? You have to like
to interact with people that don't devolve into kind of yelling and stuff. And I know that there's clicks in that.
And I mean, I kind of blame Destiny for what RGR did with Doe. Like, right? That was straight out of Destiny's playbook. And that is what our discourse has devolved to. You know, where you don't just debate somebody, you don't just talk about somebody, you try to socially character assassinate them, right? You try to make it so that nobody can, you know, like, I don't know. These people go for like, they go for blood, but in just like a really like unnecessary way.
I understand that there's sort of the grind of the internet debater to be
I say Hana like Ohana?
Certain sort of way, especially in regards to Destiny.
What do you have to do with high level? Does anybody remember the Dave Rubin thing? High level ideas, you got to do something to your brain afterwards.
To you know, drum up a little controversy now and then. But basically, the idea here is Destiny's not a very good person. Like in general.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the politics of personal destruction, and I have seen a lot of that shit directed at me recently. So,
in general, it just doesn't seem like he fosters a group of people that you'd want to be around, and that's pretty evident by the people that have basically just said, I don't really want to interact with Destiny anymore.
So from what I understand of Jake, which is not much, like I said, Jake's a little bit edgy. Jake's not like, you know, walking on eggshells. You know, Jake's, you know, not like, you know, some kind of super purity like leftist or anything like that, but it sounds like even Jake has a problem with what DGG has become.
Okay, Destiny.
Yeah, I guess we'll hop into the back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, you better, because you're here to debate, and if you don't, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I could respond to everything. I guess to broadly speak, I think that
RGR lawyer interrogated Doe.
When
yeah,
people identify problems with
Are you giving up your intro or what?
No. I was thinking of an intro, but I didn't want to just respond to all those points. That's essentially back and forth. So let me just give a macro level overview. Sure. I think that people have rightly identified that when you engage with me, that there is a large chance of receiving some sort of hate online. I just wish that people would recognize that door opens both ways, that I am also the recipient of an unbelievable amount of hate. The only difference between me and those other communities is that I, at the very least, take pretty strong stances to stop it in my community.
So, chat, we will be talking about this, like, later, like, just kind of, like, I call it, like, you know, I think I've referred to it as the Twitch Mafia at different times. What's up, Ann? Yeah, I think I've referred to it as like the Twitch Mafia at times. Like what I mean is that like in the Twitch political space, like you know, in any creator space, there's like some competitiveness. There's some meanness. There's some taking advantage of one another, right? That goes on. But in the Twitch space, it is like the mafia, in that like there are groups with power that you have to avoid pissing off, and if you don't, bad shit will happen to your stream, if not to you, right? And you know, we're talking about anything from just like, you know, kind of like losing opportunities, you know, getting you know, the way that these groups sort of dangle clout in front of people to get, you know, people to sort of toe their line. Anywhere from that to just like, you know, character assassination, like I said, to like harassment. Like there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens, right? And it is not like what you think it is. It is a lot more extreme. It is a lot more dangerous. And as such, those who take part in this discourse are almost forced to kind of protect themselves, right? And that protection breeds an atmosphere of paranoia and distrust, you know, where maybe people, you know, go too hard. Maybe they're, you know, like it's hard to explain though, but you know, it's not the kind of place where you can play patty cakes. You absolutely cannot. And I did for a long time. And people ready to cut my throat. Yeah.
I have received,
metaphorically speaking,
so many times, and unfortunately, I hope it doesn't result in the debate ending this way.
The both sidesism of Destiny saying that he's also gets a lot of hate is so disingenuous. This is the reason Steve-O gets hate, is because he's a miserable person with terrible opinions. Just coming in from Vosh's bizarre stream on neo-pronouns. Wait, so did Vosh change his mind, I'm getting, on neo-pronouns? Confusing and painful. So like I heard kind of a different take come out of Vosh's mouth when Vosh talked to Dylan, right, about neo-pronouns. It almost sounded like Demon Mama had gotten Vosh to agree to change his mind. So I mean, I'd love to see that. I mean, obviously, you know, there's some issues between Demon Mama and me, and I'm not a big fan of Vosh either, but like, you know, if she can like push that discourse to a more favorable place for people who use neo-pronouns like that, I'm all in favor of that. The reason why other people get hate is because they stand up to him. Yep, there we go. And you're not allowed to. And these kind of actions, these kind of coordination, this kind of like, you know, group of aligned, you know, interests basically silence a lot of people. In other words, you know, you learn not to mess with these people, right? And that's fucked up, because then our discourse gets worse as a result, right? There's no way to call this out. There's no way to clap back. There's no way to disagree, really, right? Because it's seen as you know, putting their clout daddy in danger, and they won't have that. V was correcting RGR about pronouns too. Yeah, just mentioning it.
But it might sound like Jake just doesn't know any of my policies or how I've dealt with any of these things in the past. But as far as I'm aware, I was one of the only people, if not still the only person, that will like enforce cross-platform bans for people that go into other people's chat rooms and harass them, or that will go onto Twitter or other forms of social media and harass people. I'm one of the only streamers I know of that has that policy on the books.
He does always kind of hang his hat on that. I've heard from people like Demon Mama, though, it's like what he's saying is a little bit maybe deceptive, according to her.
I have like incredibly strict community moderation. I have over 1 million followers between all of my platforms, maybe more than that.
Lumi Rue was talking about neo-pronouns too.
See, I can't police every single person, and it's incredibly disheartening to me that when you receive 1 or 2 negative comments on Twitter, all of a sudden my entire community gets impugned because I can't control every single random person that happens to come out and shit on somebody that I argue with. I also think it's pretty disappointing that people oftentimes will levy these criticisms that my community is so toxic, and then either me or my moderators will directly reach out to that person and say, hey, who's being toxic to you, only to receive absolutely no response whatsoever. And the few times that we do receive responses, overwhelmingly it's some random idiot that follows like 2 people that's just on Twitter shitposting. These aren't like long-standing members of my community that are like going into other communities and harassing people. It's always just like the random riffraff that happens to be on Twitter that's going to be there no matter what. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get into this. We'll get into the back and forth. I'm excited to talk about how we can hold the communities accountable, and I'm very curious why it seems like on the other end, these communities are never held accountable, and why there's so many excuses for people that I deal with, but I can't make the very reasonable explanation that, like, hey, I can't control every single...
Destiny's being performative as fuck here.
Fuck what on Twitter that you...
I mean, he's really good at that shit, like, right? This is what happens in debate bro circles, like clout talks and bullshit walks.
might or might not happen to engage with.
Right, and
the size of your platform counteracts maybe the disingenuousness of your argument a lot of times.
And I think there's a reasonable level to which you're not culpable in some other person's behavior. Of course, that makes sense, right? I don't think anybody would think that you or any other person can 100% clamp down on any sort of bad behavior. However, the way that you approach it is absolutely retroactive. It is reacting to bad behavior, air quotes, rather than being proactive in fostering a community that wouldn't even engage in that behavior in general up front. And I know that you're going to make an appeal to your popularity, but there's, like, for instance, Hassan has a pretty humongous community, and it's not known notoriously for the community that you have, right? It's known for having some gamers and some dude bros in there, and he's not always about politics, but it's a pretty chill space, even though it's very hectic with 40,000 concurrent viewers or something like that. But I just don't think that the size of your
see, do you see what Jake just did there? Right? So he's talking very respectfully and very, very nicely, but he did remind Destiny that somebody that he hates has more concurrent viewers. So the strategy there is to make Steven mad without seeming like you're doing it on purpose, and it was well executed. And like okay, so here's the deal. Like, there's some people that'll say to me, nocommentchick, like there's some people that would call Jake out for that and say that was disingenuous, that was bad. You're calling Destiny disingenuous, but look at that, the guy that you're on the side of, more or less, right here, is also being really disingenuous. Like, what's the difference, right? And the thing is, like, Jake is not playing patty cakes because Steven is not playing patty cakes, and I'm not playing patty cakes either, because this discourse affects my people. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that, because there are people that treat me like I'm like overly serious and shit. I am overly serious on one thing, and that is trans rights. I mean, look, a few things. The marginalized people getting fucking burned and fucked over. I'm pretty big against that, right? So forgive me, but I take this shit seriously, and it's not because I want to have a little personal fucking power, source, a little personal mafia. It's not, I'm not trying to make NCC into the DGG and VGG of like trans people, like, right? But let's be real, like, nobody here is fucking is bringing a knife to a gunfight, right?
Community.
And I think there is a certain level of obliviousness in those who don't, who haven't experienced this shit.
Tends to matter that much in regards to per capita.
No, Jake isn't being disingenuous. Well, here's the deal. There are some people that have a really high standard, and like, I get it. Like, ideally you'd want to come at everybody with respect. You wouldn't want to try to like slip something in there just to make somebody mad, right? And then pretend that you're not, like, right? That seems a little dishonest. Some people would call that out. What I'm saying is I don't call that out at all, because I understand what Jake is engaged in, and it is decidedly not patty cakes, right?
Like, just the vibe and the general fucking nastiness that happens because
yeah,
of
definitely. I agree, Graydon. I agree.
But specifically, it's your behavior I want to talk about, and not DGG in general, which only feeds on what you say, and that's the part that is important: is your behavior feeding.
Wait, here, let me respond to something.
So he did end up getting triggered by this. Nice.
These things before we do the whole
trans rights.
Lines. So first of all, you immediately begin by saying I can't 100% clamp down on bad behavior. That's good. Then you say that the way that you approach it is retroactive.
Like, it's reactive.
I understand. I don't know if we have precog somewhere. If we're going to do the Minority Report game, I can't preemptively ban people.
That's what I'm saying? Do you think I'm saying that you should be able to like predict bad behavior?
What other proactive steps could I take?
Whoever gets mad first loses the debate. So maybe that's the strategy. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, it depends on how you get mad. It depends on, like, how mad you get. Like, that's a big one. A lot of times Destiny will actually use performative anger, performative frustration, right, as a tactic, right? The famous, like, you're giving me a headache, you're giving me a migraine is like the message that Destiny sends there, right? And people, sympathize with that. People in Destiny's audience who might also be, frustrated with the person he's debating with, or, they feel that, right? So, it's, yeah.
Besides
Sure,
telling
great
people, wait, hold on,
question.
wait, let me just finish my thing. I know you're really excited. Let me just finish.
I'm
What are the
pretty- I'm
proactive
pretty
statements?
excited, yeah.
I like Hassan, but I'm a gamer and I don't watch his streams live. There's a big reason why I shouldn't like Hassan as a black. Oh my god. I don't know. Like Hassan, like he's not like like. I feel like there's takes I disagree with, right? There's some boomer takes there, but compared to like Destiny or Vosh or anybody, it's not that bad. Not that that's the bar that we should have, right?
What kind of proactive steps can I take beyond telling people, hey, which I've said a million times, and I'm sure even other content creators have heard me say this. If I catch you guys harassing people in other communities or going on Twitter and typing transphobic, misogynist, whatever.
Actual Jake came off pretty bad in this debate.
Bullshit. Huh. I'm going to ban you in every single community that I have.
Jake isn't necessarily wrong, but he didn't have to say some of the things.
What other proactive steps can I take?
Rather than take proactive steps to make his audience better, Kenneth Bunnell has spent the last couple of years galvanizing and empowering. Oh, and also like purifying. Like, do you remember all the times that Destiny did like a purge, basically? Just to get that ideological purity, to make sure that there's no sympathy for any kind of leftist causes, right? That, it's purging the leftist, exactly.
Well,
Hassan is pretty ableist. That I'm not saying. That's what I mean. Is there's some definite boomer, kind of energy in some of it, right?
I mean, not engaging that behavior to begin with.
So what do you mean by engaging in that behavior? Where I encourage my fans to go and harass people?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that I encourage my fans to go and harass people?
Thank you, Mike.
Do you think you don't encourage your fans to harass people?
I think by asking you, the implication is I don't believe so, which is why I'm asking you to provide me an example. Or you don't have to give me an example, a general feeling. Yeah. How do you feel like I encourage my fans to go harass people?
I can't imagine a person of sound mind siding with Jake.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was fine.
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Cool. So,
were we?
It's interesting.
It's the Thanksgiving dinner discourse.
Just yesterday, you engaged in this exact behavior.
Do you think that me fighting? Do you think
which is a pretty weird thing. But so it just
to
goes
be
to
clear,
show that,
to be clear, that other person engaged first. So if you want to say it's weird, that's fine. But you're calling the other person weird as well, which is fine. We're all weird on the online politics world. So one, that person engaged in the behavior first.
I mean, at least he admits it.
Secondly, does me responding to somebody or attacking somebody back on Twitter who also attacked me first, does that make me like encouraging my?
Wait. Do you think this person? Do you think this is an isolated incident in which you were just discussing I will never call anybody by its pronouns, and then this came up? Do you think this is like the first time that's ever happened, and there's no precedent for anyone to respond, and you weren't just like vague posting, and you didn't expect a response from these types of people? Like, you're genuinely saying like, this was an innocent tweet and I didn't expect anybody to respond negatively, and it's not a form of harassment, even though this has been a topic on your channel pretty loudly and recently with the RGR stuff that just happened. Like, it's clearly you were talking about a topical thing that just occurred. How can you be like, no, ignorantly I was just doing this, and then they responded first?
Yeah, so if this is a more cutthroat debate, I wouldn't follow you down this thing, and I would force you to stick with the singular example that you brought up. So I just want to point out that you gave an example, and the framing was that I attacked somebody on Twitter. I didn't. They attacked me first, and now you want to pull it back to now you want.
Destiny wants the debate to be more cutthroat. Noted.
No, I don't have the exact tweets, but I'm pretty sure they said that I have like a sickness or something, or that I'm sick and that I need to get right. Which I don't even think is necessarily that bad. They have the right to say that. That's fine if they want to. However, now you're backing it up to, well, were they responding to like a generalized tweet? I did make a generalized tweet. I said that I won't use its pronouns for trans people. I'll never do that.
Right. And
now, if you think that, do you think? Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm not going to get led all around by you because you're trying to hold my hand through all your doors, right? So my question to you is, do you think that me saying that I won't use its pronouns, do you think that that warrants them calling me sick back?
I don't know that it matters in regards to this singular tweet, because you're trying to just strip it of its context. it's
That's
pretty obvious that this has been an ongoing
decontextualization is a pretty big tactic in this world.
dialogue with you. And I'm not just going to talk about this topic, but this is
It's really easy to misportray something if you just take out the right information and portray, you know what I mean? That's like you can sort of be like, okay, so connect the dots, and you connect the dots and you're like, aha, you know, right? And it's like, oh my god, I mean, yeah, you purposely left out a lot of the dots, right? to paint the picture that you painted, right?
a topic that happened yesterday
Okay.
again. So
Sure.
I don't have the tweets, but they attacked me, saying I'm sick. Trust me, guys.
so it's
Before we get
important
into
to
this, can
illustrate
you-
the type of
yeah.
toxicity that you
Sure.
and your brand perpetuate, right?
Can I just, so, because this is how all of these conversations go and they've been fruitless, can I get you to kind of like hone in on an area so that every single time I kind of like back you into a corner realizing that you're not bringing up a great example, that you can't just like, okay, well, everything you've done is bad. So like if you want to stick to like one particular area, then that's fine, but like you can't just...
No, we're going to talk about the
Okay,
in
yeah, go for it.
general, your attitude, right? Because this
Well,
is what
but
it's about.
The
Because,
problem is
hold
that
on,
in general, your attitude...
it's not
like,
a
it would be-
problem. It's not a problem. We can
wait,
absolutely take
wait,
your
give it-
personality
give
into
us-
account.
I don't watch enough Destiny to know this lore.
Okay.
Give us a moment. Okay, so
I don't watch very much Destiny anymore either.
I'll give you an example.
I've seen the back and like really aggressive back and forth. I just want to make sure people can say their statements.
Such a twerpy tactic.
So I'm gonna have Destiny go for a minute and then Corn. Sorry, just Corn Pop.
Corn.
And then Jake
You
respond.
call
for a
me
minute.
either. Yeah, okay.
Okay, got it. I just saw the Corn. 1 minute.
Yeah, so one of the... Yeah, so I'm
I bet the silk from the corn is making Jake's nose itch right there. Do you think?
just... I'm curious when people like bring up like, oh, you engage in a lot of harassment. Okay, well, like,
Yeah.
what kind of harassment? So like, do I engage in like, do I shitpost or do I attack people or am I toxic or rude to people sometimes? Yeah, absolutely, I am, of course. But like,
Right.
this is usually back and forth. It's very rare that I just...
Wait, so socialist tears, are you saying that without gender, we're not human beings? Or no, maybe not. Because like, I feel like when people want its pronouns, it's like that's kind of what they're getting at is like, you know, like, because like people who use they them get shit on too of like, that's plural and you're one person, how could you you know, right? And so like, okay, fine, here's singular, you know, singular, non-gendered, right? And I get that, like, I think what you're bringing up is important, that like, though that word has been used to dehumanize trans people in the past, but I don't feel like the trans people who, you know, identify, who use that pronoun, I don't think they're trying to dehumanize themselves. I think they're trying to humanize the idea. If anything, you know, it's an attempt to, you know, humanize, like, you know, non-binary existence, right?
go in on somebody out of nowhere, right? I made a tweet saying that I'm not going to use its pronouns. I just don't want to. Now, this other person had me blocked on Twitter, so I didn't think that they would ever even engage with me.
Come on.
But I do understand what you're saying, yeah.
That doesn't change anything. You're not
historical precedent.
crying about like you're not crying about me engaging with you on Twitter, right? So if that person is going to start taking screenshots of my tweets and from behind a block, they're going to say things and accuse me of like having a sickness and like abandoning my Thanksgiving or whatever. Then of course I'm going to like rattle them back.
So is that what it is? You're not allowed to say anything behind a block?
That's par for the course. Now, if you want to talk about me being...
Oh my god, there's so much dominance paradigm in here that I don't even know, dude. If somebody fucking bothers me, I block them. Like I don't ask like, oh my god, but then I can't like, you know, it's, you know,
toxic or setting some toxic attitude out, right?
There's a ton of people that are too toxic to fucking interact with.
Fine, but
right?
like don't leave all the context. Don't make it sound like I'm just out of nowhere shitting on this person.
If you don't believe me, look at Curio's Twitter. Look at what Curio's been dealing with, right?
I didn't say you were out of nowhere shitting in person. I literally said the opposite of out of
wait, what is it? Sophie from Mars, I think is the at now.
Nowhere. I said that this was an ongoing dialogue. What are you talking about?
I would find idiots very inconvenient because my brain doesn't really think of a person as it. But I would endeavor, yeah.
Okay, well, how do you want to do the ongoing dialogue then? Go for it.
Thanks. Okay, so today, just for instance, you made a joke about me, which hilarious corn content. You said I was going to make a joke about how we eat corn in the Midwest, but I don't know if Jake is a trans vegetable, so I don't want to avoid any accidental death threats, which is a cute thing to say about me, right? That's cute. That's funny, right? Yeah. But you know what that is in reference to. Like, you only get the joke if you understand the other thing that you're a part of, right? And what would that be?
The conversation.
What would the
Oh, sorry. I was going to answer. Don't let me interrupt your
go ahead.
question with my answer. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I just didn't know if I asked it correctly.
Did you want to grandstand some more? Or?
No, I didn't know if I asked the question well. But
Okay.
Go ahead. If you think you
Because you're not railroading me down to the one answer you want me to give? Because the
No, you
false
can get
answer.
whatever answer you want. What's the real answer? What context do you need for this joke to be actually funny to your audience?
Gender is just nonsense made up by Anglos to confuse the rest of the world. Change my mind.
Okay. Sure thing. So the broader context of people that are trying to do these sexual identifications that exist outside of like binary or non-binary, to where they're including things like autism gender or these other types of exotic genders that we're seeing like wiki gender. I think that's what you need to understand the context of that joke.
Do you think that's the context of the joke that you need to think this was funny, and not the death threats that Doe received after you made a funny haha about it identifying as a doe, and then people saying it's like open hunting season. If they want to be a deer, we should be allowed to hunt like
what's up, Giga Chud?
in real life. And then Doe said, "Hey, I don't ever do this, but can everyone report this tweet?" And then that face when you get hate for respecting someone's identity, which is, again, you know, I don't think you would consider that non-toxic behavior, right? Would you consider that toxic behavior?
That's definitely aggressive. Yeah, we can use toxic if you want. But so one, that wasn't originally my tweet. I amplified it, I retweeted it, but it wasn't an issue in my tweet. I think it was Dammy's tweet, number one.
What does that have to do with it?
Number two, and maybe we just come from different areas of the internet. Yeah. I don't consider like somebody saying like, is it deer hunting season? Or whatever? I don't consider that to be a death threat. If you want to talk about this as like shit talking or something, then that's fine. But we're in different worlds if that is what you consider a death threat. If it is what you consider a death threat, which is fine. I get tons of those from these communities. Usually, anytime I get into a big fight, I usually retweet or I amplify a few because I think they're funny. There were some yesterday. If you need screenshots, I can send them to you about how what is it? I stand firmly on this. Destiny needs to be killed. Gun him down as he leaves his home. Right? People tweet shit like that. I don't even consider these death threats because they're randos on the internet. They're not like reaching out to me. I don't know if they know where I live or anything. If you want to talk about like whether or not,
do you think if say someone said that Destiny should be gunned down and then I retweeted it and tried to make a funny joke about it, do you think that you would be cool with that? You'd just be really calm?
Destiny should be gunned down? Probably not. But if they said something like we need to do like. Do you recognize there's a difference between saying Destiny should be gunned down versus like we need to purge the gamers? Like you understand that?
Wait. Do you think that the interaction between a trans person and the normal violence that they experience in a day-to-day context is separate from the joke that someone would make about killing Doe because it identifies as something that it doesn't like your sensibilities find it distasteful? Like, do you not find any?
Oh my God! Yeah, good point, Sabrina.
Congruence between the normal trans experience.
I'm not going to link the normal day-to-day experience of a trans person.
That's really interesting. Why wouldn't you do that?
I was just about to say it.
Now you got that song in my head, Gray Night, and I don't know. Wait, can I sing it? Will I get like popped for copyright if I sing my favorite things? Wait, is it? Yeah. Wait, no, it's like the Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti song. What is that called?
Do you want to keep grandstanding, or can I finish my answer?
I would love for you to finish your answer.
Okay, so I'm not going to link the day-to-day harassment or experience that a trans person receives with an otherkin. I don't think that these are in the same.
Like from that play, the Sound of Music.
In class of things. Which is kind of the whole point of everything I've been arguing, which I think Gammy's tweet kind of got towards, right? Like, if you identify as a deer, can it be deer hunting season? Obviously, the concept of identifying as a deer is not only ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure that Doe themselves don't even identify as a deer. They even say, yeah, I'm not an otherkin. I don't identify as a deer. So the idea that was like a death threat is kind of silly to me. Was it like tasteless or maybe aggressive or toxic? Yeah, sure, you could argue that, sure. But I don't think that like people are seeing it and they're like, oh yeah, like it's deer hunting time. Let's go. Like, I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is, Destiny, it's trans hunting time all the time. It's open season on us. Destiny, yeah, great memes, great fucking memes, right? So miss me with that shit, right? Literally miss me with that shit. I'm gonna try to dodge it, right? No, seriously, like, it's not fucking funny to us. It's not funny. It's not a joke. It's not a metaphor. It's real. It happens. It's scary, especially you know, if you're you know if you're in that occupying that non, you know, binary space. If you're you know, gender that you identify as isn't something that like the mass of people accept or understand, right? Yeah.
Okay, so what about the situation?
Do Re Mi is the song. Okay, that's called Do Re Mi. Who knew?
We'll move on to this topic shortly after this.
Apparently vamps.
So what about the grand dismissal of
The Von Trump children will make an angry tweet at me.
like suicide attempts and all of this? Do you think that like that's not a toxic thing to do? That's not at all making your audience have less empathy for a person? Do you think that they taking any social cues from you at all? Do you feel no responsibility for anyone seeing something you do that's shitty to another person, and then do you not think that they'll take away that it's also not shitty for them to do it? Or
Normally you like to go on after I answer, so I was going to wait for you to finish.
cute?
Okay, so I get the answer. Okay, so in terms of having empathy for people, I'm not going to sit here and infantilize somebody that is weaponizing
The Von Trump
their
ratio.
mental health issues to
think-
attack or fight with other people on Twitter. So
Can I
if
stop you
somebody
there?
says that,
Oh my god, don't want to get hit by that Von Trump ratio.
no, I'd like to finish answering this, right? So if somebody says, for instance, that they like suicide attempted their life, and then they post like a huge thing about it on Twitter, and then they're back on Twitter like 2 weeks later, like back into the most toxic for your mental place ever. I mean, if they're not taking their mental health seriously, I'm not gonna. Why should I? Like, that's not my responsibility to make those types of accommodations for people. And then I would go one step further. I'm almost done. I would go one step
Wait.
further, and I would say that the
This
types
doesn't
of
seem snappy,
accommodations
though.
that people like you and others are making for these people are actually incredibly harmful in these environments. The idea that
I don't
it's
think
funny
you have
because
any evidence
people,
to support that. In fact, I think it goes
Yeah,
in the
I
exact
don't
opposite
know.
direction.
Okay.
I never understand
Studies
how
about
DGG feels about
accommodating
me.
trans
Like,
people's
right?
identities.
Like, I don't think they like me.
Deer
but
is not a trans
they
person.
hate Demon
so that's
Mama
not
more,
linked to this at all.
so
Number one.
I don't know.
Okay. Number two, the idea, as I was saying before, the idea that we should infinitely
They never gave me
accommodate
the
people
shit that they
have
gave
severe
Demon
mental health
Mama,
issues that are
thank
making
God.
suicide attempts and posting suicide notes on Twitter. It seems to me that the more empathetic or caring response to like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here right now, rather than continually validating these people as they engage past their own blocks in the most like toxic ways possible across
You
the Twitter
engage past
spectrum.
your own blocks.
It is very I'm not gonna like reach out and like actually super ultra harass somebody that's having mental issues if they are if they've got me blocked. I generally won't do that.
But okay, but they blocked you. Like in this
They
scenario.
blocked me, but then they started like like taking pictures and responding to me, or I think you can even quote tweet through a block or whatever and responding to me. So at that case, in that point, of course, yeah, I'm gonna respond.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. You can.
Okay.
I always
So
forget
you
what
think
can
it's
do on
weaponizing
Twitter.
to have a friend say, "Hey, here's the scenario. Just want you guys to know what's going on with me." You think that's weaponizing a suicide attack? Or
I think
suicide
that if
attempt?
you have severe mental health issues and then you get online and you start like attacking other people saying you have a sickness while you're kind of like
Wait,
shielded
that was
from
later.
that,
You're saying that this thing happened later, where you
Wait,
have a
no,
sickness.
wait.
That was yesterday.
yeah.
That was yesterday. That's
And then
that's
my
months
response.
removed from the moment that you're talking about. So that isn't an answer to the question because
Well-
you didn't have the context for yesterday when you tweeted it before. So this is the
What's
type
up,
of
Zach?
behavior
Hold
I'm
on, hold on,
talking
wait,
about.
hold on, no, wait. Okay, I don't know which one you're talking about because you keep jumping around between everything. I thought that you,
No,
because
we're
you
only
opened
on-
this, no, you opened this conversation saying, "What did you do with Thanksgiving?" So I thought we were talking about what happened yesterday. If you want to jump back to tweets before then, I mean, you can show me that. But me mentioning
Right,
yesterday,
the
hey,
context of that.
why? It's okay. It's not context. It's you constantly pivoting to 20 different
It's
topics.
not pivoting.
Try
It's,
to-
con-
it is.
it's
It
the
absolutely
context.
is.
It's the context specifically for
Destiny, you're just not used to debating an ear of corn. That's all this is.
why you think certain jokes are funny and having to know, right? This is basically the same thing that people do. Like, oh, you haven't watched every single bit of this content, so you don't know.
Hold on. No,
you
no,
don't
no,
know
no,
the
no,
context.
hold on.
It's
Wait,
like,
hold on.
come
I'm not gonna let you frame it that way.
move on.
That's not. No, wait. That's not fair. Okay. If you want to talk about a specific thing, that's fine. It's your problem if every time you try to lean into a specific thing and I push back, you want to jump to another place. Now, if you want to talk about
We're not
comments I made
jumping
months
to
ago,
another place.
if you want to talk about comments I made months ago, that's totally fine. We can bring up those tweets and that interaction. But you specifically started this
you
conversation
need a Twitter fast from Destiny to use if you're suffering.
off saying, "What did you do for Thanksgiving? Let's talk about yesterday." They had me blocked and they were quote tweeting me through that block. They said that I had a sickness. I said, "How can you say I'm sick when you were the one that tried to kill yourself?" That's what I thought we were talking about right now. Now, if you want to talk back about some other tweets, that's fine. But notice you opened this conversation about yesterday's tweets,
I like the part with the talking corn. Yeah, it's not.
and now
bad.
you want to jump back because you think you
It
need
makes me want popcorn though. I really want popcorn now, chat.
context. But it sounds like you just want to criticize the prior tweets, and these current ones don't even matter. So I don't know where
Well,
you want to take the conversation.
I think they both matter and one informs the other, but it's not really that relevant. Like as far as like where we're gonna go with the conversation, I don't think we need to keep talking about this.
Do you
but
think that
it
people?
goes to-
Okay, I'm curious.
ahead.
Let's see if I can ask a couple questions.
What's up, Kyle?
Yeah,
Since you like to
go
so
for
much.
it.
Do you think that people that attempt suicide because of severe like mental
Destiny is a effing gross piece of
duress should
Yeah.
be engaging on Twitter in political spheres in like combative ways?
First of all, that implies that like
What's up, Blue?
only combative like behavior is happening.
No, it
right
doesn't.
After
What does Hippy Dippy mean? I don't know. I think that Dylan has long hair, and he thinks hippies have long hair. Kind of look like a hippie. I don't know about the dippy part, but yeah, I think he was just looking for something to call his, show, right?
right, okay, sure. So someone that has any sort of suicidal thing,
Oh wait, kettle corn is only 100 calories. How is kettle corn only 100 calories a bag? Wow.
and then is known enough on the internet to feel the need to have like some sort of like announcement, like, hey, this was
Yeah, me too. Great night. I don't usually watch Destiny anymore. I haven't watched Destiny for a long time.
going through. Like, did you read that thing? It didn't seem like
He's not a hippie. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know though.
terribly.
Wait, I think I've once seen him wear like a Grateful Dead shirt. Maybe he had a Grateful Dead shirt at one point.
Like it
okay,
It was just a sad thing that a person went through that I think deserves empathy. And
if you need me, you're rambling enough. You need me to restate the question, I can. But go ahead if you want to keep rambling. That's fine. I'll bring you back when you're done. So.
Right.
I can just imagine Dylan clapping back at this. She suggested that I was a fake hippie. No comment, chick. Here's my Grateful Dead shirt. Huh? Yeah. A fake hippie wouldn't have that, would they? No comment, chick. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it's necessarily a place for either you or I to determine what is or is not mentally healthy.
You don't think we can?
Most hippies are either dead or neocons. I know, right? Yeah.
You don't
that's a
think
good
we
point.
can say that if you've attempted suicide because of mental duress,
anyone could buy a shirt? True.
that being in the most toxic parts of online political discourse might be a bad idea. You don't think that neither of us can have an opinion on?
So what interaction do you think was really toxic? Interacting with you?
Interacting with hold on, is the implication that I am the only toxic person on politics Twitter?
Of course not.
Okay, so do you agree that talking about trans issues in general, because earlier
They're neolibs, not neocons. Be nice.
you made the statement that trans people in general experience a lot of hate and aggression in all areas of life. I think we both agree with that. So you didn't think that a trans person going onto Twitter, marketing what are like seem to be like pretty extreme trans views, whether you agree or disagree, we can agree that they're pretty
Meow.
far to the left. Do you think that that's a healthy thing for somebody that has like previously attempted suicide and is experiencing extreme mental duress?
Do you think exacerbating the issue about and like making fun of the person for
You're rambling. I'm going to ask you the question again.
is that a ramble? Because
Because you're trying to answer
You got out. Jake got out 3 words. How's that a ramble?
my question with a question because you don't want to answer it because you know what the answer is. The answer is no, they probably shouldn't be. But I'll let you keep going if you want.
Okay, we can steelman it. You could say sure that they shouldn't do that. That's fine. I'm fine with that answer if that's what you think.
Meow.
Now I don't know what anyone's particular cope is going to be post a traumatic event like that, right? Like it's not for me to say. We could probably agree that Twitter probably doesn't offer many good avenues if you're going to engage in that stuff, but you're acting like it was like the moment that happened that someone was just like going in and having a bunch of debate bro
I
moments.
guess Destiny changed his tack to saying you're answering a question with a question.
When
So.
really that wasn't happening.
Meow, Matthew. Meow.
You said basically like it was attention-seeking behavior and that it was really gross and it's
Destiny copying RGR now. The master has become the student.
disgusting. And then do you think that if someone has a mental health issue that you are helping or harming just from an ethical standpoint?
Destiny's so punchy that Jake can't even can't even say 2 sentences together.
By being incredibly negative about them and saying that their suicide attempt is specifically for attention-seeking things, or like that just
it's
ethically
potentially
neutral
harmful,
to you?
but it's potentially harmful. But I don't think that it's my responsibility to take care of somebody else's mental health on a platform.
Is that what I'm asking you to do?
Yes. When you're well,
Really?
the implication. Sure, yeah, I can walk you through it. So the implication you say, are you helping or hurting? It seems like you want to provide some level of condemnation from you
Or
hurting
being
another
neutral?
person. Okay, I don't think either of us are going to take the neutral path. No, Vosh is not here right now. Okay, so it sounds like you want to say that, like, hey, if you're hurting somebody's mental health, that's bad. I don't.
Chad, he's obsessed with Vosh.
believe I have an obligation to other people's mental health on Twitter because there's a block function. If somebody wants to block me, as long as I'm not like directing harassment, like telling fans go blah, blah, blah. If they don't want to interact with me, it's super easy to just block me. You can do that on Twitter. And then
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you've directed harassment at somebody, would it?
I mean, if directing harassment means just arguing with somebody, man, you've directed a whole bunch my way. All of you guys have directed a bunch my way. So, I mean, none of our hands are clean there. I mean,
well, do you think that that's what I mean? And also, let's just go back to the other thing real quick, and then we'll move on to this.
Wherever you feel strongest.
Yeah, man. Do you think that you not engaging in sort of the negative aspect of and the toxic behavior of saying like, oh, your suicide attempt and your note is just for like attention? Do you think that that's you just not being culpable to someone's mental health, or do you think that's you actively negatively harming someone's mental health?
If they choose to engage with my public messages about it, that's on them. They have no obligation to read anything I'm saying. There's no reason for them if they don't want to. Like, you can literally just block a person and move on. If anything,
I think Vosh and Destiny are equally obsessed with each other. You might be right.
I would argue that people like you that are amplifying my messages and making a big deal about it are increasing the likelihood of that other person reading it and being harmed by it. But I mean, again, if you're having like a severe mental health crisis and you find that you're, trying to commit suicide, then like posting notes on Twitter and then engaging in the most toxic platform on the internet for politics is a behavior that all of us should probably say.
The platform, though, that was the toxic aspect, was it?
Yeah, it is. Twitter is a toxic platform.
Not always.
And why?
Because the platform itself, with small character limits and supercharged issues, lends itself towards like pretty toxic discussions.
The people there.
I mean, we're humans on Earth, so everything we interact with is going to have a people element, unless we're talking about falling into volcanoes.
And I would say, without reservation, that your specific interactions were the most toxic, and your community's interactions were the most toxic aspects of that interaction on Twitter in whole.
You think I'm the most toxic person on Twitter for this person?
No, in that interaction.
In one interaction, was I the more toxic part? Yeah, that's possible. But again, Twitter is
okay. So you agree that
V and D are literally bronemies.
That's possible. Do you think it's reasonable or ethical for you to engage?
It wasn't Twitter. It was Destiny specifically.
In potentially very toxic behavior in general. Is that a good thing?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good thing, but I have a right to engage with the platforms I want, as long as I'm not breaking, I guess, any laws or whatever, right? Then, yeah.
So laws are good because they're laws, or laws are good because they're ethical sometimes? Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't believe that any person, I can explain it. I don't know why if you want to get into it.
Destiny bought ads on Vosh's channel. Can you not, like, refuse those?
Next conversation we can, but I don't think that people have an obligation. I'm repeating
this for the
third time now, so try to keep up. I don't think that people have an
I'm just thinking of the people who would like to buy ads on my channel.
Obligation when they're engaging with somebody on a social
media.
I'm
talking about people that have put a lot of money into like hating on me, right? That have put a lot of money into it, right?
A platform to be aware and endearing to their mental health issues.
In some way, that's gotta be like it's like an ego boost that somebody spends this much money to hurt me.
Have something that requires.
That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you not to be the opposite of that.
No, I have a right to be as much of an asshole.
You have the right.
Or whatever.
Of course, you have the right.
We'll see what happens, chat. Eventually, I think a hater will like buy ads on my channel. Eventually, that'll happen.
To be an asshole to people. I'm asking you if
the way I'm going now. Yeah.
I think that's an ethically good position to have.
I don't think I would make an ethical statement on whether you want to be a dick to somebody or be nice to somebody. That's just not like a.
Do you think that you're toxic in general?
In general, like holistically, I don't think so. Absolutely not.
Like your presence on the internet.
Oh, Twitter is
definitely don't think
interesting.
So. Okay.
Twitter's like tofu. You can make it taste however you want by by marinating it in different sauces.
Now your stance on this has changed a little bit. What personal responsibility do you think a streamer has in regards to their own like community and the way that they put out toxicity in the world? Or is it just your opening statements? Do you have anything else to say on that?
I mean, I think in general, I think that we have some obligation to hopefully make sure that our community carries forward the values that we have, and then to engage with people in I guess, like reasonable ways to where you're taking at least like the base level reasonable precautions, or
Oh,
maybe even additional ones to make sure that
Destiny and Vosh should actually do like a frenemy show together, right?
your community is
they would make a lot of money
to just
for sure.
attack and harass somebody else. Like you guys have used your communities against me.
That's the thing that keeps bringing them back together, is the fact, even though they hate each other's guts, like, you know, it's like lucrative.
Sure. And you said that you argue that it's a little bit more unethical for me to amplify you because I think that you're toxic, right?
Not necessarily. That was I said in one specific example that
Destiny, I have no obligation to tell a person with suffering from a mental health issue that their suicide attempt was attention seeking.
Like, if I'm being toxic towards somebody else and you're saying that toxicity is bad, the only way that person can see it is if everybody's running around showing it to them. Like, they don't have any obligation to interact with me on Twitter.
Okay, so he's blaming, again, blaming the
obligation, like
somebody that responds to abuse for the abuse itself, right?
Keep using the term obligation as if our social interactions are, I don't know, like above that. Like,
well, because you're making it sound, because you're making the mistake of assuming that I
throw out some names of who would I do a frenemy shows with? Who would be the my frenemy? If I did a frenemy show, who would be my rival / partner?
Say something.
I'll put the best answers up in a poll.
Somebody on Twitter, they necessarily have to engage with it. Mean or toxic?
No, we're talking about mean. We're talking about specifically toxicity. Do you have like a definition for toxicity that you'd
No, I don't think any of us do. That's going to be like a subjective. You can define it if you want. What do you think toxicity is?
Well, I mean, it can be a lot of things, but I think it's particularly like insidious and damaging behavior, right? I mean, you could and I guess there's subjectivity to that, but I'm just saying
being mean to somebody, basically, right?
Then
yeah, I guess I agree.
Well, I think it'd be
then people might say I'm anti-VTube.
Being really mean, maybe.
Being really mean.
I don't want people saying that I'm anti-VTube, though.
Sure, but being to the point of like that person might actually experience a level of harm.
If I ever debated Joni, it would have to be as my VTuber, right?
That, like, just being mean and bancy isn't what we're talking about, right?
Demon
like
Mama.
when you made
wants
the
Demon
cream
Mama.
corn shit, that you could say, if I was very sensitive about that, it'd be mean, I guess. But like, I don't think I'm gonna have a mental health crisis.
Why can't you just? Why can't you just use the tools on the platform? Why can't you just block the person and move on?
I am a VTuber, though.
I guess it's just
Just
really
like Professor Lando.
interesting that you think
It's a really sophisticated
just simply block it. Like it's like that Tyler the Creator tweet where it's like, you can't get internet bullied, just log off, bro.
Well,
and then
but
later on
for
you
things
walk
like
back,
Twitter,
obviously that's not true. Because
well, no, for Twitter that absolutely is true.
It's not really true, because then someone would have to blockchain your entire fan base, because every time someone interacts with you in a negative way, your fan base just fucking descends on them and they say some of the most rancid shit ever. In fact,
I agree. So listen to what you just said. Every time somebody interacts with me in a negative
idea.
way, why not just stop interacting with me? It's pretty easy. Just block me, move on.
right, that's what we're talking about. Because
but this person didn't. This person didn't, right? There are plenty of people, and I actually, now, if you want to talk about proactive, I've been proactive, and then I've just been auto-blocking like all of you guys when I see this shit on Twitter, because I don't want to get into these interactions anymore. Because it's just, honestly, it's exhausting, and there's not much point. And I receive a fuck ton of harassment back from you guys.
Steven.
And you know what I do? When I see it, I just block it.
What do you think? Wait, have I harassed you specifically? Do you think
Your community has, yeah,
Your corn.
What do you think is harassment when they disagree with you?
So
when
you tickled Destiny's nose with your corn silk is how you harass Destiny.
I really don't like being disagreed.
So like when your moderator is like reaching out and trying to sabotage like my canvassing efforts and stuff, I would say that that's a greater level of harassment than anything I've ever done. The sushi mom person?
Sushi? Oh, she's not a moderator.
Oh, okay. Members of your community then.
I actually kicked her out because she was toxic. So
Oh, nice. Good job. Too bad you didn't do that a little earlier, I guess. Should have been a little bit more proactive, I guess, huh?
About you? Well, yeah. Specifically, I think it's important to understand that is something that you don't tolerate, right? Yeah, I think that's a good thing. So, did you have any questions for me before I just asked you more stuff? You can.
I don't even know if you were able to answer anyway. Do we agree that if people are having like severe mental health issues,
you already lost the debate, Jake.
I guess they probably shouldn't be using that platform until they've figured that stuff out in the real life. They don't have
it really
need
depends.
That's right. That's right.
What we
need to do is like have like a card that says that you're mentally sound, that you get from your health professional, and they check you out, and you got to have your card to say, I'm okay, I don't have any mental illness at all, I can go play on the internet, right? And other than that,
friendships and stuff happens to be a lot online, which a lot of trans people do
See,
find.
like, I think there might be a funny meme there. Am I a non-communicable disease?
Community online because it's really hard to get physical.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Or is there another meme that I'm missing?
run down on all of these because you're talking in circles, because I think you realize that there's an answer, right? So when you say depends on what that is, I'll be clear. Let's say you've attempted to kill yourself because of like the mental duress that you get on online interactions, okay? Do you think that you should still be on Twitter? And then you also said you have an apparatus of friendships. Do you have to be publicly tweeting to access?
I really want to know this meme, Cordy. I really want to know what you mean.
You could just private your account and use Twitter groups.
I
or
really
like
want to
Twitter DMs.
understand.
There's no need to be publicly engaging in political debate in order to access that friendship. So
Again, when did the
so I
political
reject-
debate begin after this? Like, you're making it sound like it was like.
So you're
I
gonna
tried to kill
ramble, and I'm gonna
myself.
bring you back to the question again. but go ahead.
I'm
Online is real life, yeah, especially for people who are housebound, disabled, etc.
just saying specifically, you keep
Yeah,
friends.
this kind of weird distinction. Like, I mean, it's not gonna age well, right? It doesn't. Like, as more and more stuff happens online, as more and more, you know, our communication happens online, like, right? It's kind of, I mean, it's not that there's no distinction, like, right? There's a different way, I guess, that you communicate, like, in person versus online. There's different, like, you know, things work differently, sure, but, you know, it's communication. It's people, you know.
It
I know, I'm just
as
I really want
Right,
to
you
know
keep
about this
framing it
NCD
as
thing. I gotta know. I
suicide
gotta
attempt
know. I'm so
into an immediate
curious.
political discourse on Twitter, which isn't
So
the case.
curious.
Okay, so do you think that if somebody attempts to kill themselves, right, because
Right.
of extreme mental duress, because of stuff they've dealt with online, do you think that that person should jump back into the Twitter arena? And
See, that's right there.
back
That's the
involved?
part. That's the part that you just won't like.
Everybody wants
Like
me to
you're not hearing
frenemies
yourself,
with
like
Demon Mama.
where they just jump back in. It makes it. It implies
I mean,
again a very
I think
specific,
that would probably get
rapid,
numbers. That would probably get
like
numbers.
re-entrenchment into the Twitter wars. Like, it's just weird stuff. But we can move on. Are we good?
No, I'm gonna keep asking the question until you answer it.
I used to meet people in person back in my day.
So,
Really?
do you think that somebody that has attempted to kill themselves because
think
of
we
the
already talked
extreme
about that.
mental duress
Damn, Destiny's rhetoric is on point. I hear what Jake is saying.
that they've experienced online, right? Do you think that
So lazy and doomer to fall back into internet bad. So bad. So you should. Yeah, I know. So therefore, it doesn't count, right?
in a week or two they should jump back in and be back into that arena of debating people online?
Do I think in like a week or two?
Immune compromised my family. I have to basically live in a bubble.
I don't know. Maybe they can. It seems like the person that we are talking about, that I'm trying very hard not to talk about anymore, is in fact doing just fine and okay right now. Like, there's always going to be some harm done, and there's always going to be different ways people deal with things. But I don't think that you can tell one specific.
Oh yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Yeah, I don't really like that discourse when somebody tries to like, you know, like relate that to, you know, something online that the person in question hasn't even like.
Person, okay, this is the timetable on when you get to do politics again, my friend. Like, I definitely agree that there is an aspect of like, you could be self-harming or whatever, but I'm not asking you to manage someone's mental health. That's never what I
so
said.
if you're not
I'm
asking
asking
me
you
to make a
specifically.
judgment call, sure, so if you're not asking me to make a judgment call on whether somebody's ready to be back or not, how am I
Right.
supposed to know what level of toxicity I can engage with that doesn't endanger their mental health?
The fact that you think that there are reasonable levels of toxicity that you get to engage in is the problem that I'm talking about. Like, oh,
So is
if
this
I'm,
whole
if
argument
I'm
just
just
you want me to be
regular
nice?
toxic,
Oh, it would be unhealthy mentally for DM. Oh no.
that'll be fine.
Well, I wouldn't want to put anybody in
Okay, so do we want to reframe this whole argument? Do you
position that they wouldn't want to be in, and I feel bad for what Demon Mama's had to go through this year, right?
want me to be nice to people on Twitter? Is that what you want?
Nice to people? No. I'm not asking you specifically to be nice to anybody. I'm asking you if you think that it's ethical behavior for you to be toxic, and your outlook on toxicity in general was just pretty openly said right there. You said, well, how toxic can I be? As if you
What
are
is the acceptable pH level of toxicity?
just like vibrating and wanting to be toxic. You can't have an interaction without being toxic. Like, it took us a long time to even have a one-on-one conversation because you don't want to for some reason.
Okay,
like,
we're rambling again, yeah. So I've always wanted to
How
have a
is that a-
one-on-one conversation. You're the
how
one
is
that has
fucking
like
ramble, bro?
because you're really nervous about answering these particular questions, right? So
No question. I
the
answered the
question,
question already.
well, you're
I
making
said
this
we
weird-
could steel man it. I gave you two. I gave you the
Oh my
first one. I gave you
God.
was we could steel man it
Grey Knight, I kind of know what you're talking about. I kind of know what you're talking about.
and say absolutely. You don't get to. But then I said that
it's the kind of thing that people don't get unless they've been around Twitch for a while.
exacerbated the problem. That's the point I'm making. Not that you're.
There is a really mean streak in people, and I've seen that displayed towards me, right? I've seen that kind of intent. That exact kind of intent displayed towards me.
Just like they could have blocked you, just like anybody could have blocked you.
I don't feel bad for a DM. I think she brings it on herself. She goes above and beyond. I just would not actively. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to, like, you know, right? It's you know, kind of like the, yeah. I don't want to, like, discourse with somebody who's uncomfortable discoursing with me, for sure.
And just left it alone. Instead, what you could have done, knowing that this person
dominant spirit, I'm saying you're rambling,
is going through mental anguish, didn't have to exacerbate the problem.
Grey Knight, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You could have.
I don't have an do you think I have an obligation to do that?
I'm not saying you have an obligation. I'm saying you could
why
have chosen
are you
the
impugning?
more ethical
Wait,
path.
hold on. No.
Because you chose.
No, wait. That's not what we're here for. No, wait, hold on. We're not here to
what we're
say.
Here for. 100% that's what I'm here for.
You're here to just give me things that I could have done without any moral compulsion behind all of them. That's what we're here
I almost forgot about that mean Grey Knight.
for.
No, I'm telling you what?
Almost.
I'm telling you the ethical compulsion to do it.
Okay, yes, that's what I just asked you then. I'm asking you. You just said ethical compulsion. And before this, I asked you, do you think I have a moral compulsion not to attack somebody on Twitter? Yeah.
I'm asking you what level of ethics
But that's the rap on me. I'm a toxic 4chaner, chat.
that you wanted to apply to this, and you chose the absolute worst one.
I said none. I said I don't have an obligation. Kind of like earlier when you said that, like, I don't have the ability to
ethical
decide
responses.
whether. What?
Instead of ethical responses instead of compulsions.
Well, an ethical responsibility is like a moral compulsion. It's a behavior you ought to exhibit.
No, response, not responsibility.
Okay, I don't know where we're going.
I'm
just trying to figure out, like,
you.
Sure. Also, just as an aside, Sushi Mom is still a mod in your chat. I just checked.
No, she's not. What are you talking about? I unmodded her and she got mad about it.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's another Sushi Mom 10.
She might still be in the community. Might be in chat. I don't know.
Okay, she's literally listed as moderating your chat, but that's fine. Whatever. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is my you can.
It keeps resurfacing like greasy food. I know what you mean, right? And you almost don't want to, like, talk about it because people will take it as, like, you know, oh, so you're like part of Poll, and it's like, oh my god, no.
She's not even here right now.
Mods in your chat, and it literally says the moderators of the channel are, and it shows her right before Xanderus, right after Holly Hoomst. But you also still follow her on Twitter as well. But whatever. I don't care.
I follow lots of people on Twitter. What are you talking about?
That's fine. That's cool. So.
I just think it's funny, man. I don't know.
I can tell. Okay, so my question is what level of, like,
I never went through like went through like a right wave, like a right. I think I was, like, you know, conservative, like, when I was younger, just because I thought that Jesus would, like, you know, you would die, you have to, like, worship, you know, when I was like, you know, into Christianity, when I believed in Christianity, there was, like, some social conservatism to me, but that was as a kid, right? Like, as soon as, you know, when I got, like, of, like, you know, high school age, like, I kind of was like, okay, wait, no, this is not, no, right? I never really had, like, an alt-right phase or a conservative phase or like a edgy atheist phase or anything like that. So I don't actually relate to a lot of these people, but, like, at the same time, like, I'm not, like, you know, I have been places, right?
Illusion do I have when or ethical whatever?
Mostly because it was the only place that I could, like, post pics that people would actually, like, view me as, like, attractive. I don't know, at the time, right?
Or you want to call it, right?
Sure.
Do I
and like, notice, like, the femininity in a positive way? Yeah, I don't know. I was a weird, like, I was, like, just kind of, like, looking for approval, like,
need to act good.
I hope none of those pictures are still around
when I'm on Twitter towards other people. Is that something that
hope they're not around?
Ethically I should be
probably
concerned.
not.
I have to act in a good way. Yeah.
I think well, I mean, I do think that people ought to act good. Do you think people ought to act good?
Okay,
wait, I'm confused. I'm legitimately confused.
I don't know why you're
now.
trying to pivot again.
Well,
so I'm asking you, do you think that you
That's pretty easy.
Do you think that you need to, or you have
in church indoctrination, white kids get, oh my god, yeah, they get indoctrinated.
a moral obligation to, or an ethical obligation to
I feel bad for Jake watching this.
act good to people on, like, social media platforms, on Twitter? And if you don't do that, it's like a moral failing. Do you think you need to do that? That's like a moral compulsion or an ethical compulsion. You have to act good to people on Twitter.
I'm not saying that you have to act good to people.
My parents are yuppies and full conservative party. I was indoctrinated with a lot of growing up. Still find the internalized BS stinging me, but it's antithetical to everything that I believe in.
People on Twitter specifically. I'm saying
I'm not talking about on Twitter. Wait, why are you trying to broaden it to other platforms? It's a very easy question.
Right, I said people ought to act good.
Okay,
and then,
so if you don't act good towards people on Twitter, this is like a bad thing. Like you should avoid doing.
Now you're saying on Twitter again. So are we on? So just
Well,
in general.
What this whole
but you're saying on Twitter.
Well, the whole conversation is about
Well,
Twitter.
not just on
If
Twitter,
I say
it's
in
about-
general,
it's
I
about
don't know if
everything.
you're gonna like broaden this to like include jaywalking or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about
Sure.
Twitter, okay?
Okay, I'm talking about your broader platforming.
No, I don't want to go to broader platform because again, it lets you pivot to like these other weird areas. I'm just trying to be very
I'm not
specific.
pivoting anywhere. I'm saying in general, your behavior specifically and the behavior of every content creator. This debate isn't about Twitter ethics specifically. This debate is about specifically a streamer and their obligation in regards to toxicity in their communities, right?
Okay. Do you want to move on from this Twitter thing? Do you want to move on from the Twitter thing?
I was going to, but you wanted to go back to it for a second.
Gotcha.
That's
I'll just
fine.
make my final statement on it then, okay? I think that Twitter provides enough tools. If you
I
want
think a yuppie is like a hippie that becomes conservative, like when they get some money.
to, you can block people if you want. You don't have to engage with somebody if you want in a public manner on Twitter. I think that there are certain types of behavior that are reprehensible. So like, for instance, like doxing somebody or like threatening somebody's life or directing your community saying, go harass this person. These are types of behaviors that I think you should avoid. However, I don't think anybody has an obligation to be nice to people on Twitter.
So do you
so much the same way, I'm just making my ending statement because then we'll move on. You want to make your statement and then we can move on. Okay, I'll give you the last one, right? I don't think much the same way that I'm not going to tell you,
that right?
don't ever be mean to me on Twitter.
Young, upwardly mobile person, 1980s Thatcher gets screw everyone else, conservative kind of. Yeah.
If you're being really mean to me, I can just
like the dude from American Psycho, right? The guy from American Psycho is a yuppie.
Block you and move on. I don't have to read what you're saying, right? It's as simple as that. If somebody thinks that I'm mean or toxic, then they can either one, not engage with me, or and then two, the more extreme, not engage or ever even talk about or to me. It's as easy as that, and then move on. I don't think anybody has a moral obligation to be nice to people on social media platforms. And if they do, holy hell, every single one of the communities that I engage with has failed at least as hard as I have, if not worse. So.
Sure.
Bruce Wayne.
So do you not think, and this is what I was saying, like, in regards to how your community reacts to things, if from behind a block you find a screenshot of something, or you talk about it on your stream or whatever, and you say some pretty fucked up stuff, in my opinion, you could think it's just bants or whatever, and then your community, what cues do you think the community takes from your behavior?
He's like a yuppie and a yandere. Is he a yandere? No, he's not exactly a yandere, is he? I can't call him a yandere. That doesn't.
They're not going to do anything, like, because you must know. Everybody else knows. So I'm just wondering, do you know that when you tweet or when you say shitty things about people, like, you know that your community is going to take that to them, right?
I think that anytime any of us. Sorry, you're doing the thing where after you have me answer, you like say something else to grandstand. So I'll.
It's called Discord. I would think you'd be used to it by now.
An opportunity to do that again if you need to.
Like there's a time delay. Yes, like.
Are you good?
No, come on. Oh my god. I've never seen this much made out of Okay, so what I'm talking about, chat, is that, like, listen, if you're talking with somebody, you're talking on, like, Discord, you're talking on Whereby, you're talking on something, right? And what that thing does is it gives you the other person's voice, but it's a little bit delayed. So sometimes you both talk at the same time, and it's not because anybody was rude and interrupted anybody else, right? It's just the way it kind of works, right? And Destiny knows this, right? And it's really silly.
So
I can't.
anytime,
but it works. It works. I mean, people don't think of that. People think, oh yeah, that was kind of rude. You know, I can't, like, right?
You engage in a public platform with political messages.
Is Mary
you're
Poppins
opening yourself up to other people critiquing those political messages.
Do you think it's a
I think I misused Yandere there.
I don't think. Yeah, I would. I think they are critiques. I think that when you start making,
doesn't a Yandere have to be at least a little bit moe?
Public political statements, or if you start attacking other people
and Patrick Bateman is not moe at all. There's nothing moe about Patrick Bateman.
Public manner, then of course you open yourself up to that political backlash. Okay. I do it every single time I tweet publicly. Every other person does it when they tweet publicly.
So do you
total power and defensive move?
Just attack people just for no reason, or do you always think it's a critique?
I mean, I'm sure there are people that I have attacked. I mean, it depends on what do you
Right.
mean?
I mean, in the way that you frame it, do you think that you just only do it when you're critiquing somebody, or do you think sometimes you're just an asshole?
Oh my god.
I'm sure there are times when I'm just an asshole too.
Right. Okay. Good.
But again,
about-
as I said earlier, I don't think we have an obligation to be nice on social media to people. I'm not going to say to
It's not
them,
about being
wow,
nice,
you're
it's
an
about
asshole, so that means
it's
you're a
not
bad
about-
person.
Nope. It's not about being nice. It's about being
Does
actively
being an asshole make you a bad
toxic.
person?
Actively toxic.
Yeah, but you said
you-
earlier.
You are the one
okay.
that chooses. You are the one that chooses your act.
All right, Chad, I gotta talk about this because this came up a long time ago when I was a baby content creator, when I was hosting Bird Brains, and like what happened with Bird Brains is it started out as just me and my friends, right, doing streams talking about issues, right, stuff like that, right. We were just like, other people do panels, let's do panels too, right. And it got bigger and bigger and more people wanted to come on to it. So at some point, I started being like, yeah, I guess we could have like some liberals on, we could debate them, it could get spicy and stuff. And what started to happen then is I'd have people come on and be rude to each other. Now we went from like a bunch of leftists sitting around the table being very polite, not trying to argue. Maybe we disagree about something, maybe we have a little argument, right, but that's not the focus of it. It went from that to basically lefty versus liberal dunkaroos, right. And there were a lot of people in the audience that did not like this. I remember Senpai Chow and Universal Discourse in particular didn't like that. And when I talked to Universal Discourse about it, the feeling that I got from UD was that like it felt rude. And I looked at it and I said, okay, so if this was an interaction like in person, that would be rude. That would be rude. But then I said to myself, but this is a genre of content, and within this genre it is normalized to get up in each other's faces, to be a little bit rude, like, right, that is permitted, and that is what these people are not understanding. So what we have is people trying to apply like manners to a situation that is entertainment, right. And so I sort of justified the toxicity based on that, right. And I mean, at the level that I was dealing with it, I guess it was manageable, right? But this kind of toxicity, the kind of toxicity that gets people harassed, that gets people chased off platforms, that ruins people's lives, yeah, no, this is on a whole nother level, right? And there is a connection there. There is a connection between the two, and I wasn't seeing it. So in a way, Senpai Chow was right. Yeah, never thought I'd say that,
Right.
did you?
Someone can interact with you, and they can disagree with you, and you could disagree with
I'm gonna
them
go grab
in a
some
way
food.
that
I will
doesn't
be
come
right
across as
back.
toxic. However, you choose very regularly to engage in pretty much abject toxicity. And
I think we all do on Twitter for sure. You included, of
To what
course.
degree, though, is really the question,
Well,
right?
to what degree? It's all highly subjective. I don't know. I mean, how do you measure one
Objectively
thing?
speaking, most people agree on the internet that have engaged with you or your community that you have a very bad and toxic community.
You
And
understand that
and if people specifically get on your bad side, you tend to be much more incredibly toxic towards them.
you've just described every single political community on the internet. Do you not realize
That's
that?
not really true.
Which political community do you think that's not unique to? Just
There's so
one.
many
I'm so curious. Just name one then. I'm so curious. There's so many. Just give me one.
Name one community that if you were particularly toxic.
Yeah, if you get into a fight with them, then your community doesn't like strike back against you.
What do you think? Wait. What's this? So we're not talking about two fandoms clashing and having arguments in a Twitter thing. We're talking about specifically your toxicity and then how.
Yeah, but
everybody else
the issue
react
with this
underneath that.
conversation is you're making it sound like my community is unique in its toxicity. That's why you're
Your
singling me
community
out.
is unique in its
Yeah.
toxicity.
So what I just countered with is I said every single online political community is incredibly toxic when you get into
Every single
disagreements.
online community has aspects of toxicity. Not every single community has the notorious reputation that your community has.
Can you give me like an example size or like somebody that's comparable in my size that has like this, glistening example of.
Well, yeah. Again, I would say that Vosh and Hassan, while both have aspects of toxicity and toxic events in their histories, that they don't nearly have the notorious reputation that DGG does, and specifically, like
you understand that when you name Vosh, you're naming like probably the one other person that's as hated as me. And
I would agree, and I would
understand that there are actually.
I do. I named him on purpose.
Well, okay, but why would you name him on
For
purpose?
that
It
reason.
helps my argument. It's helping.
It doesn't help your argument because even Vosh's community that has even Vosh's community with the reputation it does not have as low a reputation as your community.
You're absolutely wrong. It just depends
That's
on who
not
you
true.
talk to. It is. Vosh's community was literally trying to. Vosh's community was literally trying to get fucking Riley disbarred after the fucking Doe debate. How are you going to say that that is like a lower level or a higher level than what my community does? Are you
your
serious?
girlfriend wanted to get one of your exes fucking fired from her job. What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
What? What do you mean? There's logs of Melina literally saying, "Hey, we should get this bitch fucking fired from her job." In the analogs?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to walk that back, or you're walking into a whole world where you actually lost so hard. Do you really want to go down that road?
We don't have to go down that road if you're uncomfortable with it.
I would like to, because it's an easy stream to judge for me, because you have no, hold on. What it goes to show, you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so the other person that I was involved with,
did we get
is
into
someone that's been
RGR
stalking
discourse
and harassing me
I know
and my
that you
friends.
say that. I know you say that. And hey,
wait, hold on. Wait, what part of that do you think is not true?
Well, specifically, I don't think anything isn't necessarily untrue here. What I am saying is how you engaged in that kind of behavior goes to show that even.
Here's the other thing: is like I don't even know this situation, because whenever it's Destiny's real life stuff, I kind of tune out. Like I just don't like watch that stuff.
And privately, you have this very toxic behavior that.
I have Twitch.
Whoa,
oh my god, thank you.
You're so out of, not even close to being remotely on point here. Okay, so Riley disagreed with Doe over public sex shit. I guess I haven't even gotten to this point yet, right? And Vosh's community, from that disagreement, has tried. Now I'll be nice, because you're not. I'll be intellectually honest here. No, actually, no. Okay. Demon Mama was liking tweets saying thank you for giving me the Maryland info or whatever. I don't believe Vosh was, but I don't know, and I'm not gonna give him that credit, so I don't actually know. But at the very least, I know that Vosh's and Demon Mama's community was trying to like actively communicate with the Maryland bar to see if they could get her to prevent her from becoming an attorney. Okay. The person that I'm dealing with is in my private life, has been stalking me, harassing me, messaging multiple people, and I have tried every single avenue to get this person to quit. And one of the only like recourse I had left was potentially contacting their school to see if they would want to talk with them. How do you think that these two situations are comparable?
They don't have to be comparable to like in an exact one.
You compared them. I didn't say they had to be exactly 1-to-1. That's why I asked you, how are they comparable?
How are they comparable in going after someone's employment?
Do you think that if do you think
and
that
also,
wait, hold on. I can't let you walk away because you said something that's so obviously stupid, okay?
Sure.
If somebody rapes a child, do you think you should be able to go after their employment as a babysitter?
What the fuck? Wait, do you think
when you're done laughing and pivoting, I'm going to ask you that question again. Go ahead.
You cannot be actually in good faith.
Oh my god.
If a child rape scenario is akin to what you experience.
I never said it was akin. Why are you saying it has to be 1-to-1? I'm not saying that. But you're making it sound like there's
Why
never
would you use
a valid...
the most extreme example? This is like
I'm using an extreme example.
Because debate bros always do this shit.
Slimy, bro.
They gotta go to the hypothetical. Straight to the hypothetical.
Child rape with you, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, so the response was you saying a statement like, isn't it going after somebody's job? You made it sound as though it's never permissible to go after somebody's job. Obviously, there are times where it's okay to go after somebody's job. That is obviously the case. So my question was do you think the situations with Riley and my personal situation are comparable, such that both of these people are on the same level of they should lose their jobs? Or
wait a minute. My chat window, wait.
Both on the same level of they should lose their job. I don't think either scenario.
Are we on a delay or something? Because I think I changed. It definitely was the Twitch window. Yeah.
Requires necessarily
Has it not
any
changed,
sort
though?
of harassment. But that's not what the point is. The point is
what a straight requires any sort of harassment. Those are just the most non-answer ever. We can move on to the next if you want. Well, fuck, I don't know if I should because I keep letting you walk around into walls, but I should actually force you to sit and stare at one for a couple minutes.
Sure.
Okay, so what was the thing where Destiny was like, "Are you sure you want to go with this? Because I'm about to just completely destroy you here, my dude." Right? What was that? It was about the Anna thing.
Sure.
I mean, we can go down this, but it just gets into really personal shit that we don't really need to do.
Well, you brought it up, and it's a total
your personal shit, not mine. It's up to you. Okay.
But you brought it up, so obviously you wanted to talk about it, right? But now I think you realize you don't know what you're talking about. So we're gonna follow this one for a little bit, okay? Yeah. So do you think that contacting the Maryland bar and saying, "Hey, this person needs to not work for you guys
after
ever"?
After public
YouTube chat. Okay, good. Good.
After saying publicly several times that this person was a pedophile,
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it was when I switched scenes.
I think there's.
Yeah.
I think there's.
I'm gonna do a personal thing. We're gonna
bail.
Cage match. Do you think that it is and did they actually say this person is a pedophile, or did they say they're making arguments they can?
Okay, so it's about Melina trying to get someone fired. I believe that they're talking about Anna. If I don't know. Are we like not supposed to? Anyway, let's not like if we're Destiny's not saying the name because Destiny doesn't want to be said to being directed harassment at her, right? Or I don't know, but like I mean I think I'm aware of the situation that they're talking about, right?
Utilized by pedophiles. Which one?
I don't. Well, both, but I don't really think
chat.
because
I usually I have to say this on every video now, but yeah, don't harass anybody. Don't harass anybody involved in this. Don't harass anybody not involved with this. Just in general, don't harass people. I don't like people harassing people, and even if you think you're doing it like on my behalf, like I'll be twice as upset because of that. So no harassment, no, going at people, and yeah, like it's not what I want.
Said you didn't watch it, but it is both. There doesn't. I don't know when we're talking about this specifically, but,
because you brought it up. You brought up my thing, so go ahead.
Right. Oh, he's leaving. Oh God, there he goes. Okay, so there's some difference in the way that the person was portrayed. Specifically, I guess the big difference is the way that you brought up this other person was against their will and really sharing private stuff that didn't need to be said, and the other one was a public debate that they both agreed to. You know what I mean? Do you not think that's a little bit different?
Do you think that if you I'm not following the comparison exactly.
Well, I guess this is just a broader topic in regards to your treatment of people, but specifically you have quite the interesting history with being toxic towards women, and I thought that.
Okay, wait. Let's not pivot away from, because I know you're really. So this is it was for the audience and the judges, right? So this is a trend for this conversation, every conversation. Okay. What happens is it starts with a particular.
Wait, there are judges. I think there. Wait, if this works the way that it has in the past, there are judges. Probably CTV and like RGR and who knows, right? But it'd be awesome if that 100% prevented harassment, like swipe or no swiping. I know, right? We need to get a swipe or no swiping for like harassment, but you're right. And sometimes when people say it, I almost feel like it's like it's like a nudge on the, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It depends. I mean, like it depends on how you say it, but understand that I am saying it 100% seriously and not in any sort of weird mafioso type way. Okay.
Particular critique, and then when I try to hone in on that particular critique, it always broadens to everything else. And
sometimes that's because that's what the reason was. But that's okay.
Sometimes I'll let people walk me around, but I would just like to point out that like I'm letting you, like I'm holding your hand and we're walking through the pumpkin patch as you go from one scarecrow to the next to the next to the next. Right? You're stepping on rakes, smack yourself in the face. Okay? So I just want to be clear, right? If you want to get off the comparison between RGR and Doe and my personal situation with somebody that's a stalker, okay, that I might have to get a fucking restraining order against. Okay? If you want to make those comparisons, that's fine. Now, if you want to run away from those comparisons and point to my broader history in general with women, which by the way is overwhelmingly positive. I know that you've only seen a few negative interactions online, but I have plenty of positive interactions with women. We can go to that debate next if you want. I'm just pointing out that you're walking away from every single specific example that you bring up. So go ahead.
We can have plenty of good interactions with women and still be toxic in general towards women. I don't know what the
Yeah, sure. Do you want to quantify that then in terms of like toxic in general?
Do we have to put like a number on it, or can we just say that whenever you have a situation in which, and it's not just women, it's everybody, but specifically women, you tend to have a problem with like just harassment campaigns, like attacking people. Like you specifically said in those logs, I attack Bad Bunny and Denim specifically because fuck them. Like that kind of shit. Like that's your mentality, and I think we.
You think that I only attack Bad Bunny and Denim because fuck them? Is that one line where you're going to ignore the entire history that I have with these two people? Just so you know, you're wandering into like another huge minefield that you obviously don't know anything.
It's really not that big of a minefield.
Yeah, okay, sure. Well, which one do you want to tackle with first? You want to tackle Denims or do you want to tackle?
Do we have to tackle either of them? And like
what brought them up?
So
let me just
pause quick.
yeah.
Pause quick. Okay.
Second cage match. I get 2.
Burning them.
So you brought up 2 examples, okay, to impeach my character. So
Just
I would
2
love.
people, but we could do more that you didn't try to fuck.
I don't know what the implication is, but
Well, no, I get it.
well, I know we all know the
Fine.
implication.
I'm just
So
saying,
again,
I think that specifically was because
Oh my
of some of the
God.
relationship-y stuff. So
okay,
so
I just
that's
on a
what I'm
Oh my
macro
saying.
level,
God.
I was excited to have this conversation because you always say like such broad, stupid shit about me on Twitter, and I thought it would be
Wait, what's a
interesting
broad
to have
stupid thing I said about you on Twitter?
like the fact that I'd be a Republican next election cycle, like stupid.
Yeah,
shit
that
like
was a
this,
joke.
right?
I'm sorry we can't ban.
Oh, that was a joke. But me saying, I don't like them because
I wouldn't
fuck
be
them,
surprised.
that wasn't a joke.
Let's
That was
say this.
stupid.
I mean, I don't think Destiny will be a Republican. Like, I don't think Destiny's going to vote for Trump or DeSantis, but I don't think he's as far as people think, right?
Do you want to know my actual take on this? Do you want to know my actual?
No,
one?
not really, because you're not going to give me any, right? So my issue
gonna,
was,
well, I just offered to.
Wait, he was muted because I saw Dylan say a swear?
Talk about.
my issue is that you always like speak in such everybody
yeah,
always
yeah.
has these broad things, and I'm like, wow,
These
I
aren't
get to
very-
confront I get to confront somebody on like actual harassment issues.
But I said,
in the
yeah.
community. Maybe it'll be an interesting conversation. I'm not even here to like wonder. I'm actually curious. Like, what are things you think that I could do to better my community, better my behavior? But instead, it's always like this leaping from scenario to scenario to scenario. And the thing is, you don't even have all the context here. You actually thought that you could bring up Anna to impeach my character, or that you could bring up Bad Bunny and Denims, 2 people that have been abjectly horrible to me for years,
Yeah, he would definitely support certain Republican candidates.
as a way to like impeach.
And then he would tell you, it's really stupid of you to be stuck in party. Sometimes the Republican's the better candidate. You just don't have the objectivity to look at that because you're stuck on leftist brain. Yeah, he would just use some garbage.
My
Listen to my Destiny impersonation.
character.
Oh, no, that one.
You,
No,
you
that
don't
last
know
one's
because
funny.
you don't know because you don't know. You have no idea. That's the problem. But if you want, again, now when I say if you want to go down these roads, you can, because I am fully justified in hating both of these people, and they both hate me, and they wouldn't even deny that. They go, yeah, he hates me for good reasons, and I say, yeah, I hate them for good reasons. Absolutely.
I really disagree
Really, with which one?
with the part where you said that they would think it's reasonable for the way that you interact with them.
In terms of me hating them, absolutely. Sure. But which one do you think is which one do you think? Where do you want to go? Which direction?
I don't want to drag up either of their personal shit.
Then why did you bring both of them up to try to get like easy points in a debate, and then imply that like I try to fuck every woman I talk? Why would you bring these up? For, like,
I didn't say you tried to fuck every woman you talked to.
what was
We
the
can talk
last
about
thing-
people you don't try to fuck,
Okay, what do you want to talk
which
about?
is
Who do you wanna
fine.
talk
By the
about?
way, I think promiscuity is good.
Okay,
that's
well,
fine.
it kind of sounded like
Am I taking boyfriend applications? Hey, this isn't a real background, right? Like, I know that this looks like my house and stuff, but it's not real. Don't get too
you brought it
excited.
up earlier as like a quick dunk. But so who would you like to
Well,
talk
it's
about?
because of the specific way that you interact with these types of people, right?
Sure, give me a
because
specific.
this-
What is a specific? Because every single specific example,
Sure.
Anna,
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, and then Marwa, you ran away from all of these. So I'm curious, what is one you actually want to stick on?
Well, I think we could just try, hopefully.
Oh my god. Debater candidates as a future prospect. That is actually really scary. And I mean, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with holding people responsible for what they did in this space, right? In fact, I think it'd be pretty hard for somebody to get out of like a primary as somebody who's participated in Twitch politics, especially if you've participated in this kind of stuff, right?
Not involve super personal stuff about other people while
Sure.
still talking about
I
the
just
topic
saying,
in
We
general.
don't get
and
to, yeah,
and
that's fine. We can do that, but you can't take the
try.
moral high ground there when you're the one that
not really a
brought
moral
all,
high ground.
You brought
Well,
all of these
believe me,
up.
I've talked to some people. It's fine. So, like,
I'm sure you have. Yeah, go ahead. It's my life, so I've lived it, so I have a pretty good understanding of what happens. Well, but go ahead.
yeah, it's their life too. So, specifically in regards to the way that you
Destiny really did Destiny meow? Did I miss that? Did Destiny meow? Dylan is angling for that. Look at him. I mean, yeah, like that. It's.
you handle, like, I guess a good example of this would be just like continuing to go in on someone like Denims, in regards to.
That's the thing, though. In the atmosphere of Twitch, like nobody's gonna go hard on your baggage, but it's kind of like in a primary, you gotta expect people to go hard, right? And if the primary person doesn't go hard, the Republican will. So you gotta be kind of boring, from what I understand, to be a good political candidate. It's hard to be a political candidate and not be boring.
Entire debacle when there was like the meetup and shit like that. Like why go after that? Why do something like that?
Typically when I go after that, it's because we're
Right.
arguing about something. We're disagreeing with something.
Well, because I'm getting because fuck them.
Okay, what is like an unfair attack you think I've made towards denims? We argued over the Richard Wolff stuff. Sometimes I make fun of her political commentary. Like what?
Okay.
Oof, that was another one you brought up that you didn't know anything about. That's pretty awkward, but hopefully you guys have
No.
Wait, Destiny just told on himself?
No, I'm talking about in general the way that the community reacts to these people.
Oh
right?
man, no, in general, that word is doing a lot of lifting there. That in general word.
I have I have these things, but I'm trying not to throw people under the bus. So,
wait, hold on. Do you understand how ridiculous it is from my position? You're trying to make it sound like you have all this dirt on me, but you're too scared to bring it up. Like, how am I supposed to even respond to this? Like, you don't. Okay, I know my life pretty well. Yeah.
Do you think it's bad in general, like on Twitter again, to talk about sexual harassment in jokey ways and think that like it's funny for other people to get sexually harassed?
That's so vague. I don't know. I'd have to know what you're referring to.
Okay. It was a rape joke that you said on Twitter.
Okay. How long ago?
Do you think that's funny? It wasn't that long ago.
It could be. I don't know. I would have to read the joke.
Okay. It was like this year or last year, but
okay.
So that's reason enough. So what I'm seeing.
Wait, what was the joke? Are you? Hold on. Fuck.
What I'm seeing here. Hold on.
Sexual harassment jokes are never funny. Yeah.
Do you?
But you know that like Destiny's audience. That's the thing. Is it like they're the kind of people that'll hear that joke and they'll be like, banger, you know, like they appreciate it because they don't get to, it's like a rare Pokemon now, like, right, that like, you know, okay, usually people don't make jokes about sexual harassment, but this guy will. He's the good babysitter. He's letting you stay up past your bedtime, DGG, right? That's kind of like, it's kind of this thing where like, you know,
I think it's okay.
Part of Destiny's marketing of himself is like, I am the one that's gonna take it a little bit too far, at least maybe like way too far.
I'm trying to see. Is he reading his? I'm trying to see if you're reading a notepad or you're just reading your chat. I'm trying to look at the reflection of your glasses. Are you trying to get things from your chat right now? Like here's Destiny's meanest tweet.
My chat's on this side.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Okay. So
I wish Jake would eat popcorn while he was debating. That'd be even better.
Do you think it's okay if someone has harassed you for you to use sexually harassing language at people?
It depends on what kind of harassment. It depends on.
Does it depend on what kind of harassment?
Because when you say
sexual harassment, have a contingency, dude.
I don't consider mean. It depends on like what you're saying. Like sexual harassment can be everything from like I touched somebody inappropriately at work to saying something like I think you have a small dick. I don't know. Like both of those can be sexual harassment. But like I don't know what you want me to say. Like when you speak in such vague terms, like do you think it's okay to ever make a sexual harassment joke? Like literally every fucking comedian, every fucking Twitter person, every Twitch streamer has done this all the time. Like I don't know what you want me to say to that.
This is what I'm talking about, right? I'm like.
Who can be the most edgy as a leftist is turning a lot of them into centrists. Yeah. They're appealing, and that's what they're doing. A lot of this DGG stuff, and even the Vosh stuff, is appealing to conventional wisdom. Is appealing to just like things that people think are true and they don't really question, right? And you just hit one of those, and you get somebody on the other side to, in good faith, say, actually, it's not the way that you think it is. Upon actually looking at the issue, you know, it's a little different, right? And they love to do that because you can get just the people that are like, no, how could you say that? Oh my god, how could you say that there's like not just two sexes, right? You know, it's like shit like that, right? That gets okay, not that Destiny's guilty of that particular one, right? But there's a lot of appealing to you know, whatever the conventional wisdom is, and banking on the fact that the majority of people won't question that. They'll just be like, no, here's the deal. We know this is true. So when you disagree with that, we know you're lying, right? They're not gonna entertain any other conclusion, right?
It seems like you do have a pretty clear notion of like, well, yeah, I'm willing to say some fucked up shit. It just depends on if the other person made me big mad first. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the point that I'm trying to talk about.
It's not,
why is that okay?
openly stated.
Probably people aren't necessarily racist, guys.
This is my openly stated position. I will match somebody's energy, right? If
good harassment, like a good serial killer.
somebody wants to come at me and they want to get
like Patrick Bateman.
personal, then yeah, what's up?
Do you think that's a match?
So today's sponsor is Conflict of Nations.
Is that what you're trying to get to?
Please scan the fuck me. Scan the QR code and never mind, just continue.
Okay.
Give up.
So
Okay.
Give up.
Wow.
in regards
I get
to
fired.
I guess just in general, like it seems like you're not matching people's energy. First of all, like people aren't coming to you and sexually harassing you, and then you saying like it's okay.
Absolutely, people sexually harass me. Somebody from the
Well, sure, we all get.
Wait, hold on.
sexually
Now,
harassed.
if you want to give some examples, right? So when I was doing the canvassing stuff, one of the people that called me from like these combined lefty communities literally was talking about like, oh, do you want to touch my dicky wiki or whatever? But it was really creepy. So I absolutely do get sexually harassed.
Wait, I didn't say you don't ever get sexually harassed. That's not what I said.
Okay,
I said
that's not that. It sounded similar to like what you were saying. That was a Hassan viewer as well. But go ahead.
cool.
Just lost the
what I'm
sponsorship.
saying is you admitted
And I think he already cashed in the Raid Shadow Legends.
weirdly.
So there's no going back to Raid Shadow Legends now.
And I just disagree with this. That there is an acceptable level of sexual harassment that you can like dish out to somebody if they
He did get sexually harassed, and it was a lefty.
do it first or something. Like, why is that good? What do you not think that exacerbates the toxicity?
Yeah, that sounds like
And because of your platform and
There's a lot of toxic people out there, and I'm sure some of them call themselves leftists. Yeah.
the numbers you have behind you. Do you not think that's a bad thing for you to engage in
Yeah. So
from an ethical perspective? Because that's what the point is.
So here's what's happening in this conversation, okay? I don't know what you're trying to say we should or shouldn't do. So earlier I tried to ask you, do you think we have some ethical obligation to be nice on Twitter? And it sounded like you said you don't have an obligation to, but I think, I'm not sure. Now you're asking me, like, is there some acceptable level of sexual harassment that you can engage in if somebody else like sexually harasses you first? I mean, it depends on the jokes. But I mean, I would say, yeah, it depends, right? So for instance, again, because it's fucking Twitter, it's social media, it's what people do. If somebody would have tweeted me like, hey Dusty, you have a small dick, and then I tweet back, oh yeah, well your dick's even smaller. Yeah, I don't think that that's.
Do you think that we're talking about like tiny pee-pee jokes?
No, yeah, like okay, so I take this when you say sexual harassment jokes. What I think you mean is that like a joke where the punchline is like that somebody gets sexually harassed and you act like it's funny, haha, when in reality getting sexually harassed isn't funny, haha. It's like isolating and scary and boundary pushing, and it's gross. So I think that's what Jake's meaning. He said some random thing about being sexually harassed with no evidence, and yet he blames the left somehow. Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that it doesn't happen like from the left, like, you know, there's a lot of toxic people, but yeah, it's kind of at this point it just seems like an excuse, you know.
That's a form of sexual harassment. What type of jokes are we talking about? You can give me examples if you want to say like, oh, like, is this acceptable or not? And I could talk about whether I think it's acceptable or not. But if you're going to speak in vague generalities, I'm going to try to give you examples. Sure. Like, what do you define as sexual harassment? How about that?
What do I define as sexual harassment? Well, no, I would agree that like tiny pee-pee jokes are sexual harassment, but I think we also agree, socially speaking, that we're not there yet insofar as like.
Okay, so do you agree that? Do you think that tiny pee-pee jokes? Do you think tiny pee-pee jokes can be okay sometimes, or do you think those are always bad?
I mean, just like any other thing, it's sort of like socially dependent on who we're talking to, right? Like,
okay,
if
so
you
then,
and I,
just to be clear, hold on, wait, no, without you pivoting away. So then you agree with my statement earlier. You tried to impeach me by saying you think there's some form of acceptable sexual harassment. You do. You agree there is, right? Can you say that you agree there's some form of acceptable sexual harassment?
Can you agree that there's some forms of like not good ways to sexually harass people?
Yeah, of course. So do you agree that there are good ways? Do you think there are good ways?
Of course.
Okay, cool. We're in the same boat. All right.
We're not on the same boat because one of us employs them in a different way, right? Like if you have bants, if you and I are hanging out, and we have bants, right? And you're like, oh, bro, your dick's small, right? Like this isn't like that big of a deal. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the broader forms of harassment in general, and then.
I don't think I broadly encourage sexual harassment against people.
Sure. Okay, that's fine.
Destiny seems to like to say ramble, obligated, and pivot all the time.
I'm glad that
What's up, Ninja Dragon?
Right.
Okay.
But would you say that you open up the doors for people to sexually harass other people when you go really, really hard at
Yeah, surely it's on the person having this stuff done to them to decide if they feel harassed or not.
them.
So am I just not allowed to go hard at people that go hard on me because I have a larger fan base?
When you go hard at people, things that happen are you dehumanize them often. You call them subhuman. Like with Big Joel, for instance, is a good example of something like this. Like he disagreed with you pretty calmly. You end up showing up in my chat and getting pretty mad about it.
So to be clear, he didn't just disagree with me calmly. After we had a conversation about stealing residential property, he went on Twitter. Yeah, he went on Twitter and he said he was the one that actually got sexist first, right? Misogynistic, incredibly. He went on Twitter. Now, you might not know this because he deleted the tweets and you don't have the full background. But what he said was...
to delete the tweets, too.
Because people spam report my shit. But you can find anything I've ever said online because there's a million people screenshotting everything. Don't worry, I don't hide from my past, okay? So what Big Joel did was he went on Twitter afterwards and he was saying shit like... You know, Destiny talking about defending his property sounds like a man that's scared of like losing his girlfriend to go and fuck another guy.
Oh, the mobile game sponsors don't care. They only have to pay enough when people sign up with the affiliate. Oh yeah, that's true.
And every time I hear Destiny talk, he has that energy.
I agree that that wasn't something he should have said, but do you...
Yeah, it is really, really, really weird. So yeah, of course, after that, of course I'm going to strike back, yeah.
Right, and then it's like the subhuman garbage shit. And then you said he was just like a piece of shit, and you had a conversation with Vosh about it, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, do you not think that you have like a problem in regards to how you deal with that kind of stuff? And then, how it informs...
I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying that I shouldn't be mean to people? Can you just say that if that's what you want? Did you just say, I don't think you should be mean to people, Destiny?
That's not what I'm saying. Because
what are you saying?
It's the type of meanness that you often... have in your community, right?
Hey, subhuman piece of shit is like that's like a pretty broad, like there's no ableism there, there's no sexism, there's no racism. It's
I've heard this before. No, he said subhuman on my stream a long time ago. He was talking about Demon Mama, and I was never comfortable with that, right? And I pushed back on that, and his justification is that, listen, I don't want to attack somebody on a single immutable trait. But subhuman isn't a single immutable trait. You could call somebody subhuman for any reason. So therefore, it's not really a mean thing. I'm just calling them bad in an abstract way. And it's like, it's so fucking oblivious. It's so incredibly oblivious that like it boggles the mind that this needs to be explained. What's wrong with calling somebody subhuman? But Destiny's like acting like what? It's the one word that you can still say without being, transphobic, homophobic. Which one is it? Which one is it? You can't say, yeah, it could be any of them. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's the thing that the transphobia, the racism, the homophobia, the misogyny, that everything is kind of like leading towards. It is the top pillar, the tippy top of the stochastic pyramid is what that is, Destiny. You went all the way to the stochastic top of the stochastic pyramid, and you said, "Oh, this is pretty neutral. This is really neutral." Did this turn from a general debate of how? I don't know. Actually, I don't know, Max. Surely subhuman, yeah, has a history. Exactly. That's what most people would say. But Destiny is like defending it, like it's like no, it's the one word that's not like a bad thing. All the other ones that I would like to say. I've got other, and we know about Destiny's tactical choice of slurs, right? But he's like, all right, you don't want me to do the tactical slurs? Oh wait, no, Vosh is the one with the tactical slurs. Destiny has the gamer slurs, right? Okay, that's right. But anyway, it's like, you don't want me to go with those? Okay, I'll go with something more general. Subhuman, right? And it's like, oh my god, dude, oh my god.
It's like a general, like, oh, you're a subhuman piece of shit.
Yeah, it's just a subhuman piece of shit. It's casual, even. It just rolls right off the tongue. For some people.
I guess.
Steven.
If you want, you can send me like a list of insults that you think I should use instead. I'm trying to get off of using like autistic and retarded.
Insults, dude. It's.
What is it about then? Because nobody knows what you're talking about right now. That's the problem.
I'm pretty sure
nobody knows what you're talking about, except for anyone with any sort of historical literacy.
Any idea?
Yeah, subhuman. What could be wrong with that? There's no precedent for that being bad, my dude. What the fuck are you talking about? That's hypersensitive. You fucking SJW, Jake. You sensitive snowflake. I can't believe you'd have a problem with me calling people subhuman. Steven. Seriously, Steven. Seriously.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm the only one missing it. I don't know.
Destiny is the manifestation of bad faith.
I don't know
right
what you want me to do. Do you just want
What
me
do
to
you
be
want me to do? What's wrong with? Do you want me to just not use any insults? We all just be fluffy, hug box all the time? What do you want me to do? Oh my
everybody
god!
Or not be mean to everybody?
Did I say that?
No, I don't know what you're saying. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So I guess we can go back.
No, it's just that Jake wants to take us all to politically correct kindergarten where we all dress up like corn and nobody's allowed to say any bad words. That's all. I mean, like.
And
this
I can
is
ask
too
you
much.
again,
This
right?
is too fucking much.
Because I asked if you think you have any sort of like ethical.
Dude, this subhuman thing is something that he's been called on a long ass time ago. This is not the first time that it's brought to Destiny's attention. There might be something a little bit like, not great about calling somebody subhuman, right? Like, he just, like, I guess he's never really listened to the criticism or taking it seriously or something. I don't know. This is bad. This is This makes me embarrassed to be part of Twitch, honestly.
Or responsibility, and I said
this is gross.
No
responsibility. I think it'd be. You don't think there's any ethical responsibility?
He's the Pope at the Church of Bad Faith. Yeah.
Instead of taking the aggressive, shitty route, because you often do. Do you think that there's
everyone who's rolling on amphetamines has no idea what you're talking about, Jake?
That you have any ethical obligation or? Maybe
aggressive,
just desire, or just
do I have
desire
an ethical obligation
like
to not
chill?
be aggressive or shit? No, I don't think I have an ethical obligation to chill. Can you state that? Can you state?
You have an ethical obligation to not dehumanize marginalized people. Destiny, please, at long last, sir, have you, Stephen Kenneth, Destiny Bonnell II, have you no wait, what are you supposed to not have? Have you decency? That's what you're supposed to have. Have you no decency, my dude? My dude. Have you no decency?
Take that in the positive now. Do you believe that you have an ethical obligation to be chill on Twitter?
I think you have an ethical obligation not to be abjectly shitty to people in general.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about, because that's now
it is what we're talking about on Twitter.
I'm talking about because
I'm
not talking about.
Yeah, but Twitter.
What does that? Okay, what does that mean then? Define it.
What is being terrible? Okay, so a great
objectively
example.
Shitty, yeah.
Okay, not exacerbating someone's mental health crisis. That's a great example of that first one.
Do you think that other people that retweet me or amplify my harmful messages to this other person, do you think that they're exacerbating somebody's mental health crisis?
What do you mean?
So let's say that I tweet, and let's say that only my followers see it and they like it or whatever, and then that's it, right? Do you think that other people then that
Okay, can anybody think of, like, what is the worst thing that I've ever said, right? What is, like, the worst thing that I've ever called somebody? I know I, like, said something about, like, Demon Mama cleans up, like, Dylan's messes and something about a diaper. I'm not super proud about that, right? But, like compared to Subhuman, I don't think I've ever come close.
amplify my message?
And people say I'm spicy as fuck.
All over the internet, and they spam.
People say I'm too spicy.
Retweet it, and they spam, say, Desi's horrible, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that those people are engaged in an act that's harmful towards somebody else's mental health?
I think it's a malformed argument to describe ethics solely as a term of obligation and responsibility. Ethics has motivation. It is not necessarily a straitjacket.
That's just such a really weird thing for you to say if you... Like, you retweeted Lauren Southern, right? So you'd have to agree that that's a bad
You're
thing
rambling. I'm going to re-ask.
No. Do you want to fucking explain that, like, Lauren Southern shit, my dude?
You the question again, so go ahead.
So if I retweet your bad thing, but you endorse Lauren Southern's good thing, because you agree with her on Kyle Rittenhouse, like, do you not see what's... You seem confused.
Yeah.
So I say I say that you're shitty for sending out doe hunting retweets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you retweet someone like Lauren Southern, a known white nationalist.
I mean jack at people by calling them super meanie butts.
But she hasn't been a really big white nationalist for a couple weeks or something.
For a few years. But yeah, go ahead.
It's not been a few years. You debated her this year on stuff.
On being a white nationalist?
Specifically January 6th, and you debated her on immigration in like 2017. You debate like
2017.
So-
Wait, hold on. Do you notice how? So I just want to point out again, right?
Well, no.
When you realize you don't have an argument, you see how you jump because we were specifically
We
saying like
debated
this year,
her-
and then you
her
jump back
on-
and you're like, remember 2017, right? Do you see what you're doing?
You also debated her this year on vaccine mandates and stuff too. Which
Okay, hold on. So you brought up vaccine mandates, January 6th, and immigration. What did any of this have to do with white nationalism?
Well, January 6th, I think, definitely does, and it shows that she supports the January 6th stuff.
What does
Yeah,
January
wait,
6th have to do with white nationalism?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm curious. Walk me through it. What does January 6th do with white nationalism?
Wait, you don't think there's a? I feel like the Venn diagram between those who did January 6th stuff and our white nationalists is pretty much a circle, right?
Yeah, the Venn diagram between the people that showed up on January 6th and the people who drank water is probably a circle. But I'm asking, what did January 6th have to do with white nationalism?
That's just such a wild question. What? The white nationalist insurrectionists tried to storm the Capitol because they didn't like the outcome of an election?
Okay, prediction. Destiny's gonna say, did you see the black dude there? There was a black dude. Did you see the Hispanic lady? Did you see the Asian woman? There was an Indian gentleman, I believe, as well. How could you possibly say that January 6th thing had to do with white nationalism when I can point out, like, 3 minorities right there? Aha, Jake, gotcha. The circle of people who drink water is substantially larger than the January 6th insurrectionists, exactly.
You think the majority of the people there were white nationalists?
They certainly were a lot of them.
What does a lot mean? Like 2% or like 51%?
I would say, I mean, it's pretty.
There was one person wearing a camp. Oh my god, a really
Like when you just look at
like pro-Holocaust shirt, basically.
the roster of people that were arrested and that are on the book.
Hitler's got a black friend. Boom, not
Looks
racist.
like all of them have links to these.
How many people were arrested out of all the people that were there? We're talking about hundreds versus
What the fuck?
thousands. Yeah, so to be clear, in January 6th, I don't think that those people were all white nationalists. A lot of them were just mad Trump voters who thought the election was stolen, right? I don't know why you're calling them white nationalists.
Sure, and you don't think there's any link between white nationalism and January?
There we go. Yeah,
6th,
tiny.
though? Like, just enough to we can just disregard it. Like it's not a white nationalist sort of.
We're not
thing. There
arguing
wasn't
whether
white
or not there's a
nationalist
link
people
there.
at the head of that.
Yeah, so there wasn't. I don't think there were people at like the head of that directing the whole thing.
Okay, do you think
and the
white
FBI agreed with my assertion, but go ahead.
Okay, do you think that white nationalists agree or disagree with January 6th? Like
They
insofar, like
probably-
do they support it or do they?
They
No?
probably support it. I imagine there's a lot of
That's
people.
Not surprising, and I agree with that. And you.
But saying that a group of
Lauren
people,
Southern with
do you-
strong
do you
white
think that-
nationalist ties also agrees with it, and now
Do
you
you
are
think that-
endorsing her.
Do you think that people agreeing with something means that that thing that they agree with also agrees with the people agreeing with them? Like,
Wait, so you're saying that January 6th doesn't agree with Lauren Southern?
do you think that X
What?
group supporting some event
Right.
means that that event supports X group, or is that group?
Do I think that the January 6th insurrectionists support
No,
white
no,
nationalism
hold on.
in
Hold
general?
on. We're gonna use all our brain
Yes.
here. Okay, we're working hypotheticals now, right? So my question is, if X group supports some event, does that mean that that event is necessarily like wholly supportive of X group?
Is that what I'm saying?
Yes.
You
That was
think I
what you
think
were
it's necessarily supportive of that group?
You made the.
You think that's what I'm saying?
Well, if there are other parts of your argument, you haven't laid them out yet. But you said, do white nationalists support January 6th? And I said, yeah, probably. And I
Right.
said, well, there you go.
Do you
That's
think
not
that,
an argument for anything. I'm sure there's tons of different groups. Evangelicals probably supported January
I'm gonna
6th.
let
White
this go.
people in like
Okay, that's-
rural.
that-
Okay, I don't have any more cage matches. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So
You got me.
we have to bring it back to the original. Now, how integral is the Lauren Southern point to toxicity on Twitter?
Why are we doing hypotheticals when the thing is right there?
Or can we bring
Pretty-
it back away from that?
Yes, we won't know until it gets back into a corner again.
Yeah, famous non-racist organization, the FBI.
So,
sometimes it's integral because of
Debate Rosal Faithful, hypotheticals.
Okay.
the
Integral.
so retweet in defense of Lauren Southern, which
I'm
is
only watching this because I like you. Yeah, I'm sorry, A&M. I'm sorry. Destiny is an awful person. I used to think he was an ally. Had better hopes for the debate rose too. But the Doe situation shows his ass big time. Yeah, and I am kind of looking at like maybe segueing into some different content, right? I want to cover a lot more trend stuff. I want to cover a lot more positive stuff. Like, I do want to keep covering this stuff when it's pertinent, right? And when there's like a point to be made. But in general, I just think of Twitch politics as being just this toxic dumpster fire that I don't really want anything to do with anymore.
I don't retweet in defense of Lauren Southern. I never did that, but go ahead.
We retweeted recently what she just said about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing because you agree with her.
Because I agreed with that video. Yeah, I thought it was. Do you think that if I retweet somebody, it's a wholesale endorsement of every part of their character?
I think?
Yeah, but if you agreed with like Nick Fuentes or Richard Spencer on Rittenhouse, right? If they happen to have the right take, right? I don't think you'd retweet that, right? So do you see what we're talking about? The thing is that you are treating Lauren Southern like she is just like somebody who just, oops, did I step in some white supremacist-y doo-doo? Well, it's good. Let me clean that off my shoe. Okay, won't do that again. Yeah, I really don't like the white supremacism. Okay, like I'm gonna stay out of that for the rest of my life. And like her whole thing is just like a dialed back, like it's just like it's a downsell. Right? Okay, so I don't have you at white supremacy. Let me dial it back and try to just use great replacement in a soft way, kind of dog whistle it, right? That's all she's doing is turning her like, mask off moments into dog whistles. It's like not really. And that's what Destiny doesn't fucking recognize. And that's what makes her so dangerous. And people's, I don't know if it's intransigence or just ignorance. Like it makes that so dangerous too.
You, Destiny specifically, retweeting Lauren Southern is bad? Yes.
Okay.
And I can tell you why.
Wait, why did you take over my question and change it? Wait, what?
Because that's what I feel about it. It's not like whatever your framing is of it. I
would love to see more trans BIPOC people get covered. Yes.
I think that in the context of your content creation, the way that you curate your community and the way that you often exacerbate problems in your community with
all of these things, by the way, which you failed to demonstrate through all of your examples. But go ahead.
Sure, I guess, but you're just no matter what examples I give you,
it's
always
frustrating, right? When you have to actually bring up a specific and you realize all of them are indefensible. Trust me, I know how frustrating that is because I have to deal with them on the other end, where people like you will bring it up in generalities all the time, and then when I try to say, well, what about this or that or that, you're like, well, I don't know,
I think it's
but then you still walk away thinking the same thing you thought at the beginning of this debate. It's frustrating as fuck.
Sure. When you're a person on that streams as much as you do, right? There's going to be a large log of like a large backlog of content that you have to parse through in order to get to your toxic behavior, right? The thing is that people on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter, I mean, they know you for toxicity, and I don't know. You realize though that the perception of people outside of your community is one of negativity towards you, regardless of whether or not they tend to agree with you politically or not, right?
Destiny hasn't given a single example. He has in fact given non-existent hypotheticals.
Yeah. Do you think does it bother you? Does it bother you? Does it bother you at all? Do you have
a full therapy session with himself?
A strong conception of the types of harassment that me or my community engages in, but it seems like you can't think of any examples. Do you ever think that maybe you're like falling victim a little bit to kind of like the group think that you don't actually have any examples, and maybe like, oh well, hating Destiny is popular and that's just kind of what people do in this
I know what you mean, A&M
community?
So do you not think that it's a bad thing for you, who has been, you've been vocally anti-leftist a lot, which is, a thing you can do, right? You do that a lot, and with the context of that,
that have been a great topic, punching left.
You have gotten, because this sort of incorporates that a little bit. You have gotten a reputation on the right for starting to be someone that they like to watch.
That's awesome. If I could like take people from the right and like try to convert them into more moderate positions.
I don't know how much you're converting them though. They converted you.
But that doesn't seem to be what's happening.
They converted you.
You seem to be taking liberals and making them, or well, not really making
too late,
them,
Destiny.
but convincing them to agree with certain aspects of right-wing thought.
No, not at all. What I am taking are socialists and communists and getting them to agree with ideas related to liberalism. That's generally what I'm doing. Yeah. If you have some evidence that you think large portion of my fan base is being converted further to the right, I'd be interested to see it. But I mean, like, I see the emails that I get, I see how my community interacts with things.
So the evidence for that kind of thing will be something that you reject, because it'll be tweets of people, it'll be comments in people, it'll be examples of chat. And you'll be like, and you can just go like, oh well, that's a portion of my community, that's not the intended effect. I'm trying to I like to IP ban people.
So do you think it's impossible to get it? If you think it's impossible to get a general feel for how a community is, then why are you accusing me of what my community is?
I'm not saying it's impossible to get a general feel.
Then who do you think is like best in the position to understand the direction their community might be leaning? Do you think it's going to be the people that argue with me from the left? Don't you think all of them necessarily are going to assume that my community is going far right, because my whole community is probably farther right than most socialists or communists on the internet? Why would I trust their evaluation of my community?
What do you think your evaluation is of your community? Like, if you had to say like, my community shows like this level of
That's what
toxicity,
Sargon said 10 or so
where do you
years
think
ago?
your
Oh my
community is
God.
in regards to the internet political spectrum as far as toxicity and what you put out into the world?
I'm incredibly proud of my community. I think my community is one of the
proud of your
least
community?
toxic. Yes, I
Steve
absolutely am. I think
Steve
my community is one of
Gone-
the least toxic communities, given the
That's actually
size that it
wild, yeah.
is, that exists on the
Steve
internet.
Gone
You can smile all you
of
want, but you haven't made your case at all for any of the arguments you brought
Akkad.
up. You tried to bring up other people that supported my argument. You brought up Hassan. I gave you one example of a member of his communicating with me, sexually harassing me on stream, and another guy that tried to get my whole canvassing shit thrown out. I've given you
Oh, but
examples of an
these are
ex-mod of
examples
yours that you lied about demodding, who was still a moderator.
I didn't lie about demoderating.
I've given you examples
Definitely
of your own
demoderating.
example, Vosh, that you brought up, is actually so hated by people on the left. There
my
are
God.
other leftist subreddits that have bots that spam anti-Vosh messages.
Absolutely,
Right?
and they
so
still
when
don't
it comes
have
to a
your-
community of
wait, they still
my
don't have- wait.
size, when it comes to a community of my size, I think that they
I
do a
knew
pretty
you were
good
gonna
job.
say
I've got a huge, healthy trans community. I've got a lot of cis women, and I've got a lot of men, and I've got a lot of people that do like a bunch of crazy shit in my community. I'm really proud of all the things that they've
We're
done.
doing
I've got
identity
a lot of things.
politics about it. Seems interesting.
What
Okay,
the fuck
the
did...
first whole part of this conversation was related to identity, but okay.
Wait.
So yeah, I am pretty proud of my community in terms of everything. Like, if you can find me other communities that have like 5
What
or
was that?
10,000 like active people, like you're not going to be able to find one where nobody harasses someone on Twitter, where no one says anything. That's just not possible.
We can
I
absolutely-
regulate.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You
No,
can
maybe I misinterpreted
We can
that.
absolutely-
And like, Lord knows I've been misinterpreted. So the last thing I'm gonna do is jump to a conclusion here with Steve. But like we've got a bunch of cis people, cis women, and cis men, and then people who do crazy things. Like that didn't sound great to me. But maybe Steven meant something different than I got out of that.
Just like, as people that engage in the internet with you, we can absolutely say like, oh, my general experience with this group or this group is better or worse, right? And routinely, if people are asked about you, like, it just doesn't. People don't.
You
really,
say routinely, but it depends on who you ask. If you go and ask,
you can
other,
ask most people in
yeah,
general.
most
that
people
aren't-
in your
that aren't
friend group.
members of that aren't
Hey,
no that
take
aren't
a
members
step
of your
outside of-
that aren't subscribed to you.
If you take a step outside your... So if I were to go and ask all the left-leaning content creators, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they'd probably have really negative things to say. But there's a lot of, like, center-ish or liberal-leaning people where I can ask, and they probably have much better... If I were to ask somebody like Bastia, or if I were to ask somebody like Aristocracy, or maybe even fucking Chud Logic, if I were to ask some of these people, they'd probably have better things to say than the far left-leaning content creators that I get into far more aggressive...
Oh my God,
like Demon Mama, or
Chud Logic getting shout out for being a Dave Rubin. Look at that, getting shouted out by Destiny for being a chud. Just kidding. That's such a bad joke. You can't make a joke out of it. You can't make a joke out of it because it already is. It already is.
Vosh.
It already is a joke.
But that's like the nature of online communities. How can you act so ignorant of this? You must know this, right?
Do you think that has to be the nature of internet activity, though?
It has, and we go back to the very first thing I said where I asked you, can you give me a single large political community that isn't seen as toxic by the other side? Like, it's ironic that you come to me with this argument because the left-leaning community online was so toxic that for the first time in U.S. politics history, a presidential candidate running the primary, Bernie, had to come out and actually disavow how toxic the left was online. That was a mainstream political figure that did it. And you're trying to say like, oh, well, no, these communities can be nice and these communities. What are you talking about, dude? This is like par for the course for online politics.
Is he talking about the Bernie bro bullshit?
I just disagree that it has to be par for the course for this stuff, and you exacerbate the problem by engaging in the negative
keep saying,
behavior.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if you just don't understand or if you don't understand what you're doing. So you just hold on. So your response to that was, I disagree that this is what it has to be. I'm not telling you how it has to be. I'm telling you how it is. Every online community is
but
toxic.
it only is that way because you choose to engage in it that way.
My argument was that
you
my
are a big problem with that.
Yeah, but you haven't demonstrated that. And my counter argument was that I take more proactive steps in my community, whether we're talking about my Discord, which has a huge trans community. And I'm pretty sure some trans moderators that run that, okay? We can talk about, like, you can cringe all you want. Hassan literally shut his Discord down because it was so fucking toxic, okay? We can talk about my subreddit, which is like the largest online streamer subreddit in all the entire streamer communities. We can talk about my unique chat that I've made. That I was like, right? You can say congrats, but your entire argument has been trying to impugn my community. And I think that my community has a stellar record. Yeah, there are some assholes on Twitter, but I ban them when I see them.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but look at what happens when I talk to those people. They can't give me any examples. All you can find is me being mean on Twitter.
Because the examples in general you hand wave every single time. Every time
I don't. You're the one that backed. What example did I hand wave in this conversation?
you hand wave specifically, like the dough stuff specifically again. Like we started out with that, and you're like, well, they engaged with me first. Like I'm being engaged. It's actually not that
you're
bad.
Talking
because
about my
tried to
behavior.
kill themselves.
You're
It's like,
talking.
come on, how is that
I'm
not?
gonna bring you back as soon as you're
unreasonable to
done.
you? I just don't understand how it's not unreasonable for you. Like what?
I'm about to re-ask the question as soon as you're finished. But go ahead.
Well, go ahead and say what you're going to say. Then
sure. So my question was examples of my community, but notice how you pivoted to an argument that I personally had. I'm asking
your community in general just keeps going after that, right? And then those people are locked in conversations with DGG forever. Like
Wait, how are you locked in a conversation? Can't you just block somebody? Who's forcing you to respond?
Dude, when it comes to Twitter specifically, but even on Twitch right now, like you get DGGers that come into chat and they're going to be like, and they say toxic shit, and so you have to individually.
You think every leftist does it to mine as well? You realize that everybody does this. You're not unique there.
It's about it's not about that they go into other chats at all and say anything. It's about how it happens, and DGG specifically has notorious track records for this. Like,
yeah, but the notorious track record is that it's literally like ISIS. Like people treat it like this. But then when I say like, well, what are some examples of this? Nobody has anything. It's a message that people like you. What you're giving me is a problem. You're giving me this problem. You're saying DGG has this reputation. I agree it does, but it's because of people like you that perpetuate it. You go around on the internet acting toxic.
So if I didn't say that you do bad stuff, bad stuff would stop happening.
The thing is, what is the bad stuff? That's what I'm asking. Like the thing is,
hey, Amar.
Like anytime I think
you don't have a concept, and I'm telling you, as somebody who's been on the internet longer than you have, you don't know what it's like to be target harassed by a community. If you think that my community, you absolutely don't. If you think that my community target harasses someone, you have no idea. I'm telling you how life works. Okay, that if
Jordan Peterson's whole fucking fan base came after me after I made my book review,
and I'm sure for the one day that lasted, it was very hard.
One day, it was like a fucking year, dude. What are you talking about?
There is. You're just wrong, okay? Because if that was the case, I have over 1 million followers on my platforms, okay? If I was to target one person, if I was to target, well, that's part of the conversation, isn't it? Right? It's my fan base, right? If I was to target one person,
not shitty with your popularity.
We're not talking about being not shitty. You don't have a moral obligation to be not shitty. You just said that earlier. That we're not talking about me being not mean. That's what you're making it sound like.
Nope, that's not what I said.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, if we ever do a round 2 on this debate, it sucks that you didn't actually bring examples. If you can bring examples of people that are engaged in widespread like harassment in my community that I don't do anything about, I would love to see it. Because by the way, you can go and talk to people, even people like Doe that I fucking hate, and I know they fucking hate me. You can even ask them, has anybody in Destiny's community ever reached out to you in DMs? You can ask Steve, my mom as well, and said, hey, is somebody from this community harassing you? Or give us the names of the people. And you know what? When we get those names, we ban them. Most of the time, we get no fucking response at all because even they realize that like, oh shit, like, well, I guess it was a person with like 0 followers on Twitter who just made that account, and all of their tweets are like just transphobic, horrible shit. And of course, these people are going to jump onto every argument. And then where this argument leads to is people like you with these widespread perceptions that my community like do all these horrible things, and you can't bring up an example. And then people like Natalis,
in regards to Demon Mama, you specifically speculated openly on stream about her gender as if you didn't think about it enough. Cage match.
Cage match. Okay, people like Madalisk are even encouraged to invent threats. She literally fabricated DMs for my community. That's how hard it was to get harassed by my community. I battled.
No. Like, is this Pixelgate? You know, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I don't think so they're acting like they proved that somebody fabricated death threats, right? What they did is they impugned the death threat and offered a reason why it might not be legit, right? I don't know that they definitely didn't prove that the streamer had fabricated. Oh my god, and this is so toxic, chat. This is the most toxic shit that you could say about somebody online, right? That they are responsible for the harassment that they receive. Because do you know what that does? That allows them to be harassed unto perpetuity, and they can't even say anything about it. You shut them up effectively by saying, oh, you're fucking doing that yourself, right? So, I mean, if you're gonna fucking make those charges, you better come with something like ironclad, because the danger of that is that you're not only enabling their harassers, but you're shutting them up. Yeah, this is fucked up shit. I don't like what they did to Maddie Cakes.
Metal is like
So do you
crazy,
not think-
and she got.
This is scary shit. This is the scariest shit. Yeah, you're asking what does fucking DGG do? There you go. There you go.
She got so little harassment. She had to
think
make it up on Twitter.
Do you not think it's a bad thing? Do you not think it's a bad thing or toxic at all to speculate openly about some?
Producing a non-conclusive receipt is not like proof of faking a receipt.
Someone's transness?
How is this
And then
relevant
how do
to
you-
what we were just talking about?
What do you mean? You said that ask Demon Mama about harassment, and this isn't.
I mean, this is straight out of the Gamergate playbook. Let's be honest. This is what this is. This is the
I said
same
ask
tactic.
Demon Mama.
She gave me about your community in which you openly speculated about her gender being valid or not, and then she received harassment from your community specifically.
Sounds like she should have responded. She should have responded back to me with names of people that did, and we would have banned them. Because
to respond to your abuse.
Wait, hold on, because
You
I don't know.
started that.
No, I
It's
didn't.
not on her
She called into question
Why
Riley's
is it her
transness.
responsibility?
She called into question Riley's
To her full level engagement.
transness by saying, you know, Riley, it sounds like you're trying to make excuses for being trans.
That's the thing. Like I've said before, like I want people to become streamers. I want, you know, especially people that have solidarity to become streamers, right? Because we need more of you. We need more real leftists in you know, in this venue. But like, oh my God, I guess I should warn you, Darvo. They're gaslighting, harassment. You know, blaming the harassment on you. All of these things getting recorded against your will in a way that seems to me to violate the concept of two-party consent, although that is not a legal claim. Yeah, all these things and more can happen to you, right? Fucked up shit. Oh my God, I shouldn't even chat. But my experience is not typical. Okay, you gotta really poke the beehive, I guess, to get my experience. But Jesus Christ,
Yes.
I do need to warn people that are going into this. Yeah. And
That was deep.
it's not right away. You're not like on these people's radar, you know, right away. Like, you know, you've got some time, but like it's oh my God.
Demon Mama that opened that line of attack against Riley, and I thought that was a really weird question coming from Demon Mama, given how
So many of these guys are ex-Gamergaters.
poor her understanding was of like everything going on in that conversation.
Do you think? Wait. Do you
Twitch has a no boomer allowed
think that
policy.
that's akin to you openly speculating on her validity? Why would? I just
Wait,
don't understand.
do you not think that that's an attack on the validity of somebody's experience of being trans? To say
I
like,
guess
hey
maybe I need
Riley,
more context for that, but even so, do you think? So you think that it was?
if you don't
bad
have the
for Demon
context for
Mama-
this conversation,
Who do you
why?
think-
You need the context. This context is highly ship of Theseus, right? If I remember correctly. The way that Steven arrives at what he's accusing Demon Mom of is through a series of swaps, of false equivalences, essentially, that are, you know, done so fast, and it seems like, okay, this means this means that, therefore Demon Mama did this, and it's like, no, dude, you've shoehorned that in so hard, and I'm not buying it. Harasser seems to hate me. They come at me, but then block me after one reply. I don't know why I'm so...
Bring this up again.
There's
as
a
a-
ray of
Do
sunshine.
you think it was
example.
bad? Do you think it was not cool? Let's steel man it. Let's say Demon Mama did in fact speculate on the validity of RGR's transness. Do you think that's a
She didn't. She wouldn't. That's not her.
good or a bad thing?
I mean, it depends on the conversation.
That's it. You just said this conversation that you're talking about. You said it was.
I feel like this is Darbo. I feel like that's exactly what they did to Demon Mama. I don't see
Was it
like...
a shitty thing to do?
No, you're misunderstanding.
No, it's not.
everything
Was
I'm
it a
saying.
shitty thing for her to do that
That's
to
not
RGR?
how what I'm
Because
saying
if you
is that-
agree that it's a shitty thing for her to do it to RGR, and then you fucking do it right.
Demon Mama is calling out RGR for playing the respectability politics. My trans identity is valid because... Yeah. Like, well, I mean, like, she has this whole, you know, objective gender thing, right? And that's where they really butt heads as far as their takes, right? I didn't. I don't know. I don't know if she got back yet. I know she's streaming on YouTube again, but...
Thinking, that's your comeuppance, bro. Then, like, you can't stand and say that
It's
you
not
don't do
about
unethical, shitty things.
It's
That's
not about
literally
it.
you saying, that's shitty, I'll do it too. Fire with fire, bitch.
Okay, so my statements aren't whether or not it's shitty or not. It's that if somebody opens the door for a particular type of discussion, then of course I'm going to step in and have
Was that
that discussion.
open door to you, or do you think so? It would have been okay if
They're
RGR
having
said it.
they're
Or do you
having
think
a
it's okay for
they're
you to
having
do
a
it?
they're having a public debate on a public platform. So yeah, it invites public people to step into the conversation.
Now it's public, and now it's okay to be really shitty to somebody, even though you said
it's not about being really shitty. Why do you keep mischaracterizing that? It's not about being really shitty. It's that Demon Mama specifically said, Riley, it sounds like you're trying to justify your existence as a trans person. And my weird thing was that during that conversation, Riley was asking
for validity, though. How is that speculating on someone's validity? That seems like someone just saying, "Hey, it sounds like you're trying to cope about this." It doesn't
cope about your sexual identity, or you don't think that that's an attack on the validity of somebody? Can you repeat that for me? I just want to hear that again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to go into it a little more.
Play back. Yeah.
So you saying and openly speculating on whether or not someone is validly trans.
Play back the other thing where you were saying that like
is not the same thing. Is not the same thing as someone going, "Hey, do you think you're handling this in a healthy manner?"
I'm not here to.
Is it other two different statements being said? Demon Mama is saying one thing about
what do you think Demon Mama saying? Yeah.
About the trans experience. Demon Mama. It sounds like Demon Mama is saying, and I think she would probably agree to some extent, at least in part. But I didn't watch this part of the conversation. But from what you're saying specifically, just that quote, right? That quote sounds like someone saying, "Hey, the trans experience is a interesting and tough thing to deal with." It sounds like the way that you are going about this is a cope in regards to like the.
You don't think calling your sexual identity a cope?
No, not the sexual identity a cope. The way that you're interacting with somebody else about the broad conversation.
About justifying your sex. When you say it sounds like you're trying to justify your existence.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say that.
That's what Demon Mama said to RGR. You don't think that, and you're saying that like it sounds like
what's the exact quote that Demon Mama used? But either way, it doesn't matter because
it kind of does matter because now you're making it sound like you're responsibly different.
Okay. Let's say Demon Mama said that 100%. Do you agree?
He's like, look, this ship of Theseus is sailing one way or another. Okay.
That's bad or good, right?
We've got the technology. We can distort what she said. We are strawmanning this bitch. We are strawmanning the. No.
It's not about being bad or good.
This is so bad. This is so
because
ugly.
I don't view it as being bad or good. It's just it's a conversation topic about a social issue. She's opening that door for that conversation.
Destiny, please stop equating sex with gender.
Topic. So
that door was not open to you to speculate on someone's gender.
It's a public conversation. Do you agree that public debates invite public conversation?
This
public
is so bad. This is like Napoleon and Snowball here. What am I listening to?
And public commentary?
What is this shit?
Do you think that was commentary?
Well, okay, let me try this again. Do you agree that a public debate invites public commentary? Do you think that when you have a public debate with somebody that you're inviting some level of like public speculation, commentary, critique?
Do you think you have any responsibility to like?
I'm gonna repeat the question again, so let me know when you're done.
You'll never forgive WandaVision for making the ship of Theseus the thing?
You're just gonna repeat it because I've already.
I would like an answer. Yeah, I've let you do most of the like walking around in this, but I'd like to hold your feet to the fire.
It's not your gender to speculate on.
Okay, and Riley's gender is not Demon Mama's gender to speculate on.
Being alive apparently invites debate, yeah.
So let's say again that she did the bad thing. You agree it's a bad thing.
It's not about it being a. You're so hung up on whether it's a bad or a good thing.
Bro, of course, because that's the point of the whole conversation is, are you being a bad person? Are you being toxic? And are you exacerbating toxicity in your spaces?
Okay, so let's.
You are exacerbating a thing you identified as toxic. Then you made it bad. Okay, you made it worse.
So you're saying the conversation
is about not getting through to you.
You're saying that the conversation. Okay, I'm giving you a chance to clarify. So you're saying the conversation is about being bad, or being mean, or being.
I'm not saying mean. When you say mean, it loads it with this sort of like, "Oh, my feelings are hurt," and you know why you say that, dude? Because it's not about being like, "Oh, my fifis." It's about actually being a toxic person.
Okay, what is the difference between being mean and really mean and toxic? Because everything I'm saying about Demon Mama is just
this earlier.
Wait, you understand that all of the things I'm saying are just fifis being hurt, right? I'm not actually attacking. I'm not assaulting somebody.
Being hurt. There's a difference between. There's a difference between saying something like you get this a lot, and you know, and I don't think body shaming is good. You get the short things, I get the fat things, and it doesn't feel good. But we don't really. I would assume you and I are relatively numb to that kind of thing, right? Like, it doesn't really bother you. It might be an insecurity that you have. It might be an insecurity I have. Maybe someone actually says something, but it's because it doesn't come with any weight that doesn't really hurt your feelings. Like, there's feelings, right? and then there's actually like experiencing trauma to
Which
some
is a
extent.
feeling. These are, hold on, just to be
Right,
clear.
but
You might not know this.
The way that we
Everything
load
that
that
happens,
socially, Steve,
everything that
is the
happens
difference.
online, all of these things are about our feelings.
Yes, but do you agree?
Hold on, wait.
You
I need you to understand that nobody has
Jesus
like a
Christ.
boxing glove attached to the computer. When you talk about like trauma, okay, when you can just block somebody online, like holy, this is unironically the title of the creator tweet, okay? Unplug the computer. If you're getting traumatized by somebody tweeting at you, it's time to take a step back from the monitor and go eat some grass, okay?
Wait, but
Something
what
is way wrong here. Everything we're talking about here is your feelings.
But
These
you
are
can't
all about
preempt-
feelings.
You can't. Feelings to some degree, and not in the way that we're loading them when we talk about them in a mimetic way. Like when we meme about like, oh, your fifis are hurt. That's clearly a different social thing. I hope we can all agree that like, I hurt your feelings isn't the same as you caused me mental anguish, or you caused me to revisit trauma, or you caused me to become depressed.
It's like a more extreme form of like touch grass. Yeah, it's just people debating about trans issues. Yeah, always, right? She made a toaster? They seem unable to talk about anything else. Oh my god, what am I doing?
Like that. These are different things. Yes, they're all under the umbrella of feelings, but like saying fifis is clearly like the really bottom of the barrel version of our emotional experience as human beings. What we're talking about.
If these particular conversation topics cause you mental anguish or
grass can permanently mess up your teeth.
Trauma, it sounds like these are not the types of topics that you should be discussing in a public debate forum. I'm sorry, but like that, you have to take some level.
Wait. So now it's gotten to the point where trans people can't talk about their existence to each other without the threat of somebody else speculating on the validity of their gender, and like it's okay that you engage in that behavior. Because they brought it up.
I'm gonna let you take a stab on that one more time. I'm gonna let you take a stab on that one more time. Okay, I was involved directly, but go ahead. You're telling me that you think what I'm saying is trans people can't talk about their existence to each other. You know that when we're on stream, it's not just to each other. Do you think that you and me, am I in the room with you right now? Do you think I'm talking directly to you right now? Is this a one-on-one conversation?
No, I would have loved a little bit of that in the preamble to this, but you didn't want that.
So I'm not in the room with you. You're not in the room with me, right? We're not in each other's heads, right? Would you call this a one-on-one conversation with no outside like viewership, or?
I'm getting a little like funky internet things happening on my end. I don't know if that's me or if that's.
Is that me appearing in the room?
No. I mean, I'm getting lag or something.
Okay, so earlier you rephrased what I said in the most ridiculous way possible. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
You said that I don't think that trans people should be able to.
Gender is not a conversation you're invited to. Exactly.
Talk about their existence to each other.
We have us for president.
I never said anything like that.
Jennifer for president.
If two trans people are going to argue in a public debate forum and they're going to argue with each other over the validity of their trans experiences, then yeah, of course I think that opens up public commentary, critique, and discourse related to those conversation topics. Absolutely. Right. And then earlier, hold on, because you made another bad statement earlier, that I said that trans people should never be allowed to. Trans people can go and do anything, but if you have a severe emotional or traumatic response to something, then yeah, I would say you probably shouldn't be involved in like public debate discourse about that, because those are really brutal environments to exist in. Why would you ever do that to yourself?
And this is, you know, that's like victim blaming, right?
It's not at all victim blaming. What do you think?
Okay, so there's one scenario where two people are having a good discussion, and it is public, sure, which means that you can talk about the topic and everything like that. But then there's certain lines that happen.
Sure. Which I agree. Which is why I would have never brought that topic up if Demon Mama hadn't explored it first. But once that door has been open, then yeah, of course we have a right to comment.
We're literally public open to you.
It was a public conversation that they both chose to make public So anything they talk about, why would there be a public conversation that two people can talk about that you have no right to have an opinion or idea
You
about?
can have an opinion. It's not about you having an opinion. It's about specifically the way that you went about sharing your opinion, which was more toxic than it needed to be to have the discussion about the topic.
Let's revisit this in round 2 because you don't even know what the fuck was originally said. So how can you possibly have an opinion about how I expressed mine? I think we should move on to the next topic.
Okay.
Speaking of that, okay, I would like to thank today's sponsor in full now.
Raid Chat. Just kidding.
Of Nations. If you could scan the QR code, bottom left-hand corner, really help the channel. Just play the tutorial. It's on your phone. It's World War III. The only war that's more nuclear than this game is in this debate right now. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to go through, or do you want me to bring it back to the general idea, which I was thinking about doing?
How much longer are we on for?
19 minutes, maybe 30.
Maybe 30. Depends on if you're entertaining or not. Yeah.
I'm having some internet things happen. I don't know why. You're both robots to me. Am I coming through on your ends okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay. That's weird. Okay. Well, if they can get it on your ends, I guess my internet's being shitty right now. But anyway, so do you think that you have in your ethical opinion, do you think you have an like? I guess we talked about how do you the grounding axioms is a meme around you. What's your like basic ethical understanding at this point, because it seems to move around a little bit? Like, are you for harm reduction or are you for other shit? What do you got going on?
Harm reduction on social media? Absolutely not.
No, not on social media, just in general. Like, what do you think? It's a battleground. That's such a weird way to go about it, man.
But it is, and I've already demonstrated it as such. If you want to revisit that topic, we can, but I think I'm already, like, the record shows that I'm absolutely correct. When you have mainstream political candidates that are out there trying to disavow the toxic elements of their fan base.
That's not what I asked you.
Okay, that you implied that, like, wow, what do you mean it's toxic? It absolutely is. I don't know what else you want me to say about that. It completely is. Moving on. So, like, what? I don't think you have an ethical obligation to be nice to people on social media. That's all I would say. If people want to be dicks or assholes or whatever, I think they can do that. That's fine with social media. If you don't like it, you don't have to be on that platform, or you can block people. I think it's super easy to do.
I guess, do you think that there's an ethical obligation, not necessarily to be nice, but to not be shitty to people?
On social media, no.
In any snenario. Do you think social media is specifically different?
Like, in any scenario ever.
Yeah.
What's the why do you make the distinction? And also, it's not just on social media, it's also on Twitch. And
do you think you have like an ethical obligation to be nice to opponents in a League of Legends game?
Wait, I think you have an ethical obligation not to say like slurs in all chat.
We're not talking about. Notice, do you see how quickly you're moving away? So I'll just.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
I got to talk through everything because I just realized you have no idea what I just did. Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay, so you're asking me this rhetorical question, saying that, like, do you think that in some areas you can be mean to people, in other areas you can't? Like, it's some kind of own. Like, you're saying, like, oh well, we should be nice in every scenario. But what I'm telling you is obviously that is absolutely what you were implying. You just don't understand it, but that's fine. But there are absolutely different environments in our lives where, in some cases, you can be kind of mean to people, and in other cases, you can't. So, for instance, if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody and I'm like, fuck you, I hate you, motherfucker, I think that's a pretty shitty thing to do. But on social media, that's kind of what we all get there for. We get on social media, we all get there to shit on each other. That's what these environments are for. That's what they happen on Twitter. It's literally 180 characters. Do you think it's there to write your fucking novel? Do you think it's there to share like high quality political discourse? Absolutely not. It's all fucking shit posting. I wouldn't expect anybody to be nice to me on Twitter. I wouldn't expect anybody to be in 4chan or in a League of Legends match. In other scenarios, I would, but no, I disagree with this blanket assertion that, like, oh yeah, we have to be nice to everybody or not nice to everybody across every single platform we interact with.
You have to be nice to everybody or not nice to everybody in every single way. I'm not saying that there's no scenario in which you can be.
One has an ethical motivation to be nice to other people in League of Legends because failure to do so will inevitably result in your account being closed.
Shitty to another person. What I'm saying is about the unique shittiness that people like you and yourself tend to engage in specifically. Do you think, like, you're not just being not nice, you're not just being neutral.
I suppose you could call it an obligation.
You're specifically being genuinely shitty to people. Like,
he either needs to moderate or needs to eat something to eat, you know? That's always a valid excuse. If you're stuffing your face, you can't possibly moderate, so then you can get away with, like, letting it go a little bit, but like he needs to have like a pizza or like something there to
And you don't think there's like
be snacking on.
an ethical obligation at all not to be shitty to people?
Destiny says it's social media. I'm allowed to be racist and sexist and a complete and total dick.
No, I don't. I've already told you that like 4
wild.
times.
Okay.
Do you think they're like asking the
Well,
same question over and
guess,
over
I guess
again?
it,
Well,
it's
let me. So
weird to
I'll
that,
ask.
like you smile and you say that, and then, like,
Okay, so
it's
let me
almost like
flip.
you
I'll
like
ask
that
you. Okay, I'll
about
ask
you.
you. Let's do the contrapositive. Okay. So you're saying to me that I am saying that you don't have an obligation to like not be mean to people. Okay. Are you saying that you have an obligation to be nice to people? Then do you believe in
No.
that? Okay. So what are you arguing for?
What? You don't. So there's a difference between being nice and being a dick to people.
So
And
are you
then-
saying there's certain levels of dickness that's okay?
Dylan has an obligation to do as little as possible because he wants to ride the coattails.
Or
Well, do you? Oh wait, do you disagree that we have certain levels of being an asshole to one another, or no? Like what?
yeah, sure. I'm just curious where
course.
you draw the line then, because now it sounds
Well,
like we
I
both
think-
agree. Now
I
it sounds like
think
we agree completely. We
Tons of dairy and grain.
just draw the line in different areas. So does that mean I'm worthy of moral condemnation because you draw the line a little bit closer to neutral than I
Well,
do?
at least he's got a drink. At least he's got a drink.
Or
It's not even. It's. I don't think we draw very closely at all. But it's just in general about.
I would share my stir fry if I could because I made too much. I made way too much. I didn't think I made too much, but I did.
It's just odd to me that you smile and go, yeah, of course I don't think that we shouldn't be shitty to one another. It's just that's so weird to me.
because
Like,
that's not how these platforms work right now. If they were different, then I'd say
what do
otherwise.
you mean
Yeah.
if they were different? Because they are platforms that exist in a vacuum, and only through your interaction do they become toxic.
Okay.
Not
I'm
your
gonna
specific
okay, sure.
interaction,
We're
but
gonna
you
run
would-
through. I'm
AFKing his way to
gonna
fame.
run this. Okay, I have a lot of mushroom experience. Well, we can loop again on this. So you keep implying that I'm the one that makes Twitter toxic. I've already given you an example of a mainstream political figure disavowing the toxicity on the left that I have nothing to do with.
That is such bullshit. Like, no, Destiny's like, yo, you know that Bernie said that the Bernie bro should be nicer because Hillary Clinton was gaslighting everybody, that there were like all these toxic like Bernie dudes and they were being like, super misogynist towards Hillary checks, when in actuality I don't think the demographics even bear out like that much of a sexual like difference between Bernie's supporters and Hillary's. I have an air fryer. Go ahead and put some in an envelope. Yes.
Why are you pretending like I'm uniquely contributing to this environment when it's par for the course?
Wait, why do you think that the Bernie thing is like
I didn't make enough for the rest of you?
that's the example that you can think of?
Because that's a mainstream political figure
that's
that is disavowing toxic activity on the internet, that is
Yeah.
specifically the types of people that I fight against. Because you say that I go after leftists all the time. So
It's not just
when I
about going
act,
after leftists. I'm
no,
just
when I,
saying.
hold on, wait, I
The Hassan School.
don't know why you're blowing that
One of 3 legendary
more
schools.
vague. Okay, so when you ask me why are you so toxic when you go after leftists, and I say, bro, those same leftists are so fucking toxic that Bernie Sanders, the nicest guy on the internet, was out there saying y'all need to chill. Okay, how are you gonna claim that I'm uniquely contributing in a toxic way to that environment?
This is such a canard.
Did I say it was
Complete canard.
unique?
Oh, hold on. I'm going to ask for a judge input. Did he not use the word unique? I thought I heard that word exactly.
But maybe
I
you
don't remember.
Okay,
Well,
I thought he almost verbatim said it.
I'll ask,
Uniquely
I'll, wait,
toxic.
wait,
as
let
if
me
you're
ask,
the
let me ask the judges. Let me ask the judges.
Okay, so well, if I did say that, I misspoke, and that's fine.
Okay,
so,
that's fine, then
so
I'll take it
I
over
wouldn't say that you are the most uniquely shitty person on Twitter. I'm saying that your specific brand and what people know
Okay,
you for.
do you know what specific is another word for unique?
I guess in some ways it is. It's not really how synonyms work. Are you good?
I'm not saying unique. I'm saying
The
only.
judge
I'm not
said-
saying only. I'm just saying specifically.
Wait a
I'm not saying
second.
specifically.
Well,
I just
because
like,
you
Because he's so used to ship of thesis in anything. If anything is like anywhere close to it, something else in a thesaurus, he's like, oh yeah, that's equivalent. That's equivalent. That's the same thing. My dude, it's right here in the thesaurus. And it's like, oh my god, do you not realize that thesauruses will take stuff that are the same idea, but like a little different, right? That are different scales, and just combine them, because it's like literally anything that's, related and that could be the same is the same. So Destiny, like, there he's got his ship of Dylan hangry. I would be too. That's why I always have like some rice cakes on hand, like, right, because they're nice and noisy too.
Wait,
implied
stop,
that you
You
were
can crunch over your debate, your debater as well.
alone on an
Stop.
island there.
Stop.
I'm not saying that.
Stop.
Okay.
He said, I think he said unique to Twitch community. He brought up examples like Hassan's.
Okay.
Okay.
So, it's not about you alone being the sole shitty nexus point on the internet. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when people interact with you, they get a uniquely like toxic
we're looping.
engagement. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So why I asked you if you have an ethical responsibility to
Be nice to people. Be not mean to people. Yeah.
just not be specifically shitty to people.
Specifically shitty is what we're using now. Okay. Which is way different than mean. But go ahead.
It is way different than me. I don't know why you're. Well, I do know why. I understand why you're comfortable with.
You
with
could
saying,
totally own me
"You
right
can't
now.
be
If
a
you just say
big
like,
meanie on the internet, which is not what I'm saying.
you could totally
If
own me
you
right now.
want
Be
to
like,
misrepresent- if you want to
I'm gonna
misrepresent
help
it,
you. You can just say like, Destiny, you're actually so bad faith. When I say being really shitty, I'm talking about this exactly, and you know that's what I'm saying. If you want to go ahead and do that right now, you could totally own me. But you're using these words in the most like amorphous way.
I'm not trying
I don't know
to
what the
own
fuck
you.
you're talking about. You are. It's a debate. Of course you're trying to own me. We're literally being judged on our performance.
Dude, I have no illusion.
Oh yeah, who's judging? Does anybody know who the judges are?
Of how,
That's gonna come up pretty
any
soon.
debate with you is gonna go, bro. Like I'm not trying. There's no.
So now
fucking
we're
shot
hedging
for
our
me.
bets. Now we back off. It's like, oh, I always knew it was gonna be a debate. Blah, blah. Okay, whatever.
What are you talking about? I'm not trying to own. I'm not trying to dunk on you, dude.
Are
What
you
I'm saying-
serious? Bro, you literally bring up 3 personal examples from my life, one of which is a person I almost have a restraining order against. And you say you're not
Because
trying
they
to
are-
dunk on me? What are you talking about?
Specifically brought those up because you bring them up on stream to your massive audience. You do
Yeah,
that.
but you didn't
Only about the
establish any points for why that was bad or wrong.
The entire. Okay, so it's bad or wrong to specifically bring up these things to your massive audience because of the way that they react when you engage in a negative behavior towards people. But you
These
disagree.
other people are constantly attacking me. I don't have a right to attack them back, or I don't have a right to be negative back.
It all goes back to Amsterdam, doesn't it, Grey Knight?
You can do it to some extent, and then there's a part where you go over the line. And I
Okay,
don't-
so Bad
I
Bunny
understand
literally
that
has a stream. Bad Bunny literally.
Okay, so we're getting. I don't even know what the Bad Bunny and Denims thing is that he's talking about.
Has a stream titled Gusano Simulator. Can you tell me something that I've done that's like of that level of shittiness towards her? Oh wait.
I mean, two people can be shitty, and you don't have to exacerbate it. Like again, we can steelman this.
Okay, that's
and
what I
you
thought.
can say
All
you
right.
could say someone is shitty to me, someone was real shitty to me, and then and that's bad, and then you do the thing.
Okay.
Like it's just it seems weird. Well, okay, so what about the ethical obligation to any sort of like consistent like moral framework? Like it seems like it moves around a lot for you. Do you? That's why I asked you.
My moral framework has been like exactly spot on this entire conversation. I can repeat any part of it. You need me to.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that we got it through an entire conversation, but I mean, like over the course of months.
Over
like,
the
it seems
course
to
of
be
years, I've more or less had the same moral position,
Yeah.
Positions when
Well,
it
I mean,
comes to, like-
they hate Bad Bunny anyway. They're
like managing my
these
community.
people are never gonna give
Like Denims
never gonna give her a fair
hasn't
fight.
talked shit about me in like months. I don't think I brought up her in like months because we just don't interact with each other.
Why are we talking? Okay, so
Because Denims was one of the people that you specifically brought
right,
up. Did you
right,
forget that?
I guess we weren't talking about it right now though. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
Oh my bad. I know you're really uncomfortable bringing up specific examples, so let's just speak in like the vague generalities.
Well, no,
that allow you to
like
pretend that you have some authority on the
I mean, who's trying to pivot now, Destiny? I thought we were talking about Bad Bunny.
topic. Okay.
Sure.
Who's trying to pivot now, Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bunnell II?
It's about your general demeanor when you have disagreements with people. Like
Now it's about my general demeanor. That's
Oh
not
no, he's gonna...
being mean to somebody. What is general demeanor?
So, if you want to pick apart each one thing,
I'm not trying to pick. Hold on, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not trying to pick apart one thing. I'm just trying to get you to actually stick to a single coherent
sure, I
definition
would
for
give
any.
you- Okay, so do you think that might makes right, for instance?
Might makes right. No, I don't think
Yes,
so.
of course
at all.
not. But that's what you argued in like against like two people that I tend to
Luna?
disagree with, Luna and
Yeah,
stuff.
I can
Like,
summarize that argument. So what I said
I
was
already
that,
watched the argument. We don't need.
well, no, hold on. You didn't because you didn't hear what I said. What I said was that if I had to choose between being a country that was getting shit on by another country versus being the country that's shitting on another country,
That's
I
what
would
you
rather
said.
be. Okay, find the quote for me. Go ahead. We'll wait. Read it. I'm sure you
Okay.
got to type your notepad. Go ahead.
Okay, so what you said was it doesn't seem like a very good system if my capitalist system can just come in and shit on you. Seems like that's a point for capitalism, right? That's a might makes right.
It
argument.
seems like that's not. We're not talking about ethics or morality there. I'm saying that if there is a system of government that constantly gets destroyed by another one, seems like the other system of government is probably better if it can withstand like external pressures.
Just I'm not saying might makes right. I'm just saying if might, then therefore right. What?
I don't think that's a pretty controversial thing to say.
I don't think that's a controversial thing to say.
What do you mean?
Right, but then that means
those aren't the same thing.
that you. Okay, so.
Oh my god.
I guess I don't understand.
Is that really that hard to follow? Wait, are you serious?
Well, no, but then you're.
Okay. This is performative as fuck.
But then you're applying that.
Book smarts. Did you call me performative? Book smarts. Book smarts. I don't know your middle initials or middle names or anything cute to call you ooh book smarts. But you said that I was performative when the real performative one is your orbitee, Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II. What do you have to say to that? Book smarts. Performative. I simply can't believe that you would call me performative, book smarts. I can't believe such a thing.
Means that capitalism is more correct than communism in that specific scenario because we get to bomb the shit out of like Vietnam and shit, and like
no,
then,
what I'm
then
saying is that if I think that
and...
any reasonable person that listens to this, if somebody says, well, the reason why every time we try X economic system it gets rolled over by other economic systems, that to me doesn't sound like a good reason to try X economic system. Seems like I'd rather be the other people that aren't getting rolled over. You keep doing these really confusing I things. I can explain this slower.
The IS thing? Wait. The I is confusing?
If you need me to.
The IS thing.
But if your system is
nobody clipped that.
Constantly being toppled by other systems, it sounds like you have a system that is not working too well. That's why I would opt to be in the other system.
If your kid is constantly getting their lunch money stolen by the other kids, that's not a good kid to have. I would adopt the other kids. What?
Do you think that's that controversial of a statement to say? Do you think I'm making an ethical argument there? Or do you think I'm saying that, like, morally, you ought to be...
Destiny did not handle that properly? Yeah, I actually don't know anything about that situation. What's up, communist?
Toppling weaker systems. Or you have the moral righteousness on your side to destroy other systems. I'm not saying that. That's not a moral argument. It's a descriptive fact of history.
Okay. And so you don't
Why
think
is it that...
You don't think that comes across... You don't think that comes across to people at all that, like... Vietnam was like a good thing to do. Like
I've never said that Vietnam was
sure, but I'm just saying like you don't see how that clip could appeal to right wingers.
That clip is not my creation.
That conversation.
Hold on.
That
clip,
conversation.
Hey, Ninetales.
Clip is not my creation.
Sure.
More corn, please.
Somebody else wants to create a 30-second clip of a 50-minute argument that I have somebody.
It was just the debate in general, but yeah.
No, it wasn't the debate in general. It was clips shared on Twitter. You're either wrong or you're uninformed.
No, I just watched the debate itself. It was just the debate that I was coming from.
Okay, the debate. If you watch the whole,
I know, right?
I didn't mean clip in the Twitch.
This is a terrible thing that Destiny's saying, and it's like it's such a DGG thing to say. Hey, I'm not saying that X, but like exact equivalent to X, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just.
Okay, that whole debate.
Like if you do that in the right way, some people will be like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." You're not saying X, you're just saying like, pretty much X.
If you watch it, you're
just saying 1/2 X plus 1/2 X. Okay, I get it.
To come away thinking like, oh, Destiny thinks that bombing Vietnam was really cool. I never said that. I'm pretty sure, and I don't remember because it's been years since I had this, but I'm pretty sure even afterwards when she tried to attack me and say, oh, you think that might make sense? I'm pretty sure I even said, no, I don't think that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't want to be in a system that's constantly top of another one. I don't know if you watched the debate or not. Why is it that, do you think that, I'm curious, when it comes to being an asshole on Twitter, do you have things that you've done?
Wait, constantly toppled by another one. Wait a minute, Steven, let's remember that like all these systems, like, for the most part, were capitalist to begin with. So wait, I mean, like, you know, they get reverted, but that's not the same as like constantly being toppled, right?
On Twitter, do you regret?
Like, you're talking about, you know, a different economic system, right? and those don't change that often. And the fact that the whole world adopts one economic system makes that change even like more difficult. But like the whole like idea that it's like, aha, never gonna happen. Like, it's just like, like I can imagine a monarchist. Can you imagine this? Oh, you Republicans think that you're gonna have a system without the king. Interesting. I don't fucking think so. Where has that ever happened before? And it's like,
you think you should have done?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you disavow like saying that like you should be shitty towards like kids or whatever that wear MAGA hats?
Shitty towards kids, like counter-bullying. I believe the tweet is something like, "Don't worry
kids
about it."
Kids bully your oppressors.
Yeah.
In response to somebody saying, "Bro, these are fucking children." Do you think that, like, I'm curious because you're actually, in these tweets, now you're directing people towards real life behavior that you can't just block. You're talking about going into real life and harassing people where they can't just, like,
I would say that you would agree that there's a situation where...
It's weird that they only got to this right now.
Political...
maybe they did this on purpose.
Political action is necessary, right? In regards to your...
For kids? No, not
because
really.
they're not. I mean, if Dylan's like not going to not going to increase the time, then they're going to be they're going to be done pretty quickly here.
I mean, these were just high school students fighting. I think it was the clip. Or
so
they did touch on this a little earlier, though.
I would consider high school students kids. Yeah, I don't think that I would encourage them to be like harassing.
Well, yeah, sure, but like it's not like a bunch of 6-year-olds and stuff doing that. But that's
so since they're 16, it's okay to encourage them to bully other people for their political differences.
So I understand that like
what are we talking about?
If you want to frame it that way, that's cool. That's definitely a thing you can do. Would I say that today, right this second? Probably not, because I've kind of changed on that. I was a little more aggressive.
What was this? I thought they were talking about the RGR thing.
And I would disagree with that version of
this is something
today, because I don't think.
The Covington kids? Is this the Covington kids?
That's fine. However,
okay. I would say you probably should have led with that instead of justifying it.
Well, no. In regards to just in general,
kind of Jake's existence on Twitter, he regularly retweets smaller accounts who are critical of him to be BTFO by his audience.
The concept of bully your oppressors. There's a reason there's oppression. You just said before that you think it's okay to do certain things in response when they open the gate, but I think we agree on political action specifically. We're not talking about Twitter beef. This is a little bit different, right?
No. Hold on. So when I'm saying things are okay when other people have opened the gate, I'm specifically having a conversation with you in the context.
Gotta love that Christmas sweater.
Of Twitter beef, okay? That doesn't extend.
But you don't just.
That doesn't extend necessarily to real life. If somebody tries to like pit me when I'm driving down the highway, I don't think that you should like try to get behind them and do the same thing. I don't apply that.
Okay, so on the topic of hypocrisy, like the NFT thing came up, and I think that's important now since we're doing.
There's a reason that harassment for people to quote tweet, their convo, perhaps being a content creator on Twitter could be one.
A hypocrisy thing. So,
okay,
you recently said that NFTs were, scams.
Do you have the full quote?
I do have the full quote somewhere.
Yeah, go for it.
Probably, yeah. Let me.
It's weird, chat, because like quote tweeting being aggressive, I do that. Like if I were to scroll down my Twitter timeline, it'd be like 1 out of every 7 quote tweets is actually like I'm clapping somebody, like I'm going at somebody. Like usually my quote tweets are just like I want to add something on to what you say and get the engagement instead of just retweet. I'm kind of stealing your tweet is what I'm saying, Chad. I'm just kind of stealing that retweet, right?
Let me see if I have.
I can paraphrase it.
Yeah,
if you
it's like most of the time I agree with the quote tweet I'm doing. I don't really use it aggressively that often.
You can find the exact quote.
Everyone that tries to sell NFTs is just looking for
I did it to Mecha Random 42 though, and I don't know how I feel about. I do not want to bully Mecha Random 42. Okay, because I feel like in the past I've like made fun of her in less than nice ways, and I don't want to be like that anymore, right? She's got terrible takes, and she's reliable for that, but like I don't know, I don't want to get like let's not like.
Biggest suck.
She's just like I can't fight with Mecha Random. I can't do it. It's not.
Sure.
Okay.
It doesn't feel right.
So when you're looking for a big sucker, right? What does that refer to?
What do you mean?
You're trying to flip. You're trying to flip NFTs to people, right?
Right. Yeah. And now you're doing that.
I don't tell people that they can make money off of NFTs. That's not. I've never done that.
I think Jake's biggest problem is just not being enough into the lore. You know, you might be right. Yeah, there is a certain degree to which if you get involved in somebody, you know, questioning their, like, you know, fucking lore, right? Yeah, you're gonna have to know that stuff. And although I don't know, you are and you aren't, because it's like, you know, if the audience doesn't know, right? I don't know how that actually comes off, but I know what you mean. It's like hard to talk about stuff, you know, when it's like, it's Steven's life, but it's like for a lot of other people we don't follow that. Like, for instance, I don't know anything about the stalking thing that Destiny was talking about. I don't know anything of that situation. I mean, I know the person involved, but like I don't know anything about them or the situation. So yeah, I can't really speak to that.
So you're.
It's not the same thing I was describing with Jake. I think it's clear that at least back when I was following him, that the QT was to put the quoted tweet. Yeah. You know, you're probably right. You're probably right. I'm probably the weird one. I am probably the weird one here. Like, I've had people before think that I was getting aggressive with them when I wasn't. I was just being playful. It's playful banter with NCC. Yeah. I mean, QTing people on Twitter is not the worst thing. I think it can be the worst thing to bring up critical tweets on stream, which will incentivize their communities to defend them. People I share spaces with were incredibly harassed by his audience, by Jake, or sorry, by Jake or by Destiny's, by their audience.
Okay. So your hypocrisy is fine if you're just selling them and trying to make money, because you agree that, you know, you have to sort of bank up real quick before you get banned off the platform for whatever it is that you're going to get banned for, right?
Do you think there's a difference? Do you think there's a difference between
Destiny's
selling
audience.
somebody a Beanie Baby, saying that you can collect it and play with it if you want, versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby and saying they can get rich if they hold on to it?
Are you calling NFTs Beanie Babies?
Yeah, I think they're comparable.
Do you think they're comparable?
Yeah. How do you think they're not?
How do
Do you
I
know
think
what
NFTs
actually, I'm
aren't
curious.
comparable to
What do
NFTs?
you?
I QT people I agree with all the time. I'm not trying to paint it with only one brush. The QT can set up context either way.
Yeah, what do you think an NFT
the
is?
ecological impact of NFTs is
So the
definitely-
ecological impact doesn't exist here because this is not a proof of work. It's a proof of stake thing. It's on a flow information chain where that doesn't exist. So I'm curious, can you tell me what you think an NFT is? I don't know why you're going also to ecological, because I'm pretty sure you need factories to produce Beanie Babies, but go ahead. Enlighten us, please.
Sure. As far, what are you asking? Are you asking me to?
I'm asking you to tell me what is the substantive difference between an NFT versus a Beanie Baby?
Well, one is just a stuffed animal, and the other one's a scam that you agreed was a scam until you got made money off of it.
How is an NFT a scam? How does that statement make sense?
How is it? You peddling NFTs. Okay, so what's the difference? What's the difference between you encouraging your fans to send you money through the purchase of NFTs versus just how everybody else goes about NFTs? You're doing the ethical NFT.
If you want to sell an NFT to somebody and you advertise it as such, this is an NFT. If you want, in my case, it was a clippable fucking stream moment with some varying levels of rarity, then you have the right to do that. Go for it. But if you're trying to sell somebody an NFT and say, like, bro, buy this fucking NFT in like 2 months, you're gonna get rich, okay? I'm selling this now for 10K.
So it's just the lack of prosperity gospel attached to it.
You understand this is, so I'll go back to the Beanie Baby example. Do you think there's a difference between selling somebody a Beanie Baby, saying, hey, here you go, have fun with it, collect it, whatever, versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby saying, hey, keep this, in like 5 years it'll be worth 3x its value?
Princess Diana Beanie Baby, dude, it's gonna blow up. In fact, I think it did, but like.
I'm going to ask you the same question when you finish rambling. So go ahead.
I just think it's interesting. I don't know, man. I just
got to repeat the same question. So think about it. I know
so
you're rambling right out of things. So go for it.
When you said before that it was a big scam and then you were just looking for suckers to buy NFTs, like, you think that now you're justified in doing that because you're not telling them they can make money off of it?
First of all, I'm not directly selling them the NFTs. Secondly, I'm not flipping it onto them.
Party that you're sponsored by.
It's not like I hold the NFTs and I'm trying to unload it onto a bigger sucker.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the first party origination is the eternal site. The problem is, I don't even think you know what NFTs are. So I'm going to ask you the question again. What is the difference between an NFT and a Beanie Baby? Or do you think there's a difference between selling somebody a Beanie Baby and saying, hey, here you go, collect it, maybe sell in the future, versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby saying, hey, in like 5 years, this will be 3x its value? Do you think there's a difference between that?
Well, I think one is well, when you tell someone that there's an ability for them to invest in something, and then they do or do not make money on it, that could be a bad thing for sure.
True, I agree, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that a lot of people that sell NFTs do exactly that. They say, "Bro, buy this shit; it's gonna be worth."
5 is a much better number in my opinion, but I don't know.
Okay, but so
I also really like tacos.
do you find the sale of NFTs at all ethical?
Yeah, sure. An NFT
Jake is letting him make a pitch right now.
is a thing. You can buy and sell it.
I know, right? That is fucked. I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, why do you think?
NFT thing is pretty cringe, but he somehow manages to weasel his way out of it.
Why do you think buying or selling an NFT? I need to hear you. I need to hear you explain this to me. Why do you think buying or selling an NFT is unethical?
Why do I think buying or selling an NFT is unethical?
Yeah.
Because it's not a real thing. It's like a scam product that comes out.
How is it not a real thing? Can you explain on that? What do you mean it's not a real thing? You know that a CSGO skin is not a real thing. What do you mean by that?
Right, a CSGO thing, I think you agree, is like a gamble loot box, though, that you disagree with and you wouldn't take on sponsorship for, right?
Do you think there's
You don't really like tacos?
a difference between CSGO? Do you think there's a difference between CSGO skin gambling versus like a CSGO skin?
I mean, it's the result of the other. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, well, hold on.
I
just crossed out. By the way, for reference, I told you guys, if anybody tried to bring this up, nobody even knows what the fucking NFT is. This is why this is not the.
What are you talking about? You're talking about CSGO.
I gotta admit, I kind of don't know what an NFT is. I know it's like an image and it's transferred into like an equation that has something to do with blockchain, and that's all I know.
Technology even is. You don't.
Dragons love tacos. They are crunchy.
Why do you think an NFT is different than like a CSGO skin?
Good night, Ninetales. Good to see you.
Why do I think it's different?
Yeah.
I don't think they're ethically that different.
Everybody go follow Ninetales on Twitch. Meow.
I think they're both.
But you think that CSGO skins are unethical?
I think. Wait. You specifically have said that CSGO skins are scummy and it's gambling.
No,
and it's not a good thing.
That's not
yes,
true.
you did.
I did not.
Did I just misunderstand your entire clip?
Okay, go ahead and find another one.
What are you talking about?
The sponsors that I haven't taken in the past are for like
every single person on the internet.
Are for CSGO lotto shit. So like gambling skins. But gambling skins and telling people they can make money.
You think loot boxes aren't unethical?
A loot box is different than trying to flip a skin onto somebody. Do you think that a loot box and somebody's selling you a skin saying that it'll appreciate in value is the same thing?
Do people sell appreciating value CSGO skins? I don't CSGO.
Yeah, they can, I guess.
Is that a thing? I've never heard of anyone playing CSGO and going like, bro, get my red dragon camo skin. It'll appreciate in value. Then you can flip that on some loser later. Like what? And so do you think?
This isn't fair. I'm handicapped because he doesn't even know any of the topics he's fucking bringing up. This isn't fair. I can't even argue about it. He has literally no idea. You can buy and sell. Yeah, you can buy and sell CSGO skins. Of course you can.
Okay, so do you think that's scummy behavior?
No, but it depends on how you do it. For instance, the CSGO skin itself, like the NFT, is not necessarily a scam or inherently unethical. But as soon as you start engaging in a practice where you're buying and selling these things, telling other suckers, hey, you can get 3x your value off this, just buy and hold, trust me, it's going to be worth a lot. I think that's the unethical part. Yeah.
So do you...
Creating a unique piece of digitized media through an embedded ID code which carries a significance of uniqueness to the holder supposedly. It's not comparable to real-world collectibles, however.
Do you think selling NFTs in like current day with the context of how NFTs work and what people know about them and that you buy them and you're trying to sell them off, but really it's just people sort of like, it's like sharing the same $20 bill to fabricate value. Like, you don't think that like just plainly shilling NFTs in this current...
He's so mad. Like, I left for an hour and this happens.
Is unethical because you specifically don't say that they...
Jake doesn't know about the Steam marketplace.
In value.
No, of course not. An NFT is a valid digital entity, of course. If you want to sell NFTs, go for it. That's fine. Yeah, but as soon as you start telling... It's what?
I said you're sponsored. I would expect you to say
first
a valued digital entity.
Well, I'm not currently sponsored by them. That was a one-time activity.
And if any valid digital entities out there would like to reach out and contact nocommentchick and like me sell your NFT, just kidding.
Well, you were sponsored, yeah.
Do you think I won't shit talk prior sponsors? You have no idea who you're talking to. Why would you believe that?
Wait.
Number one,
isn't
okay.
that bad
Number
business?
2, you still haven't explained.
Wait,
to me.
isn't that bad?
What is this?
Wait, if you shit talk prior products, isn't that like make your future products like less likely to want to?
Substantial difference between an NFT or a Beanie Baby or a fucking CS:GO skin.
So does the website that you did the sponsorship
Getting talking
for,
points from chat now. Does the website that I was sponsored by, do they use talking points? Probably. That's probably true. But I don't endorse the messages on every single website from every. I know, because your chat is probably feeding you lines on it, because clearly you don't know what you're talking about.
The chat's feeding me lines, man. I'm saying.
I know they are. Because earlier you brought up you brought up the fact that it has like a bad environmental impact, but that's not true because you didn't know the technology behind this particular set of NFTs. But you probably don't even know what an NFT is.
This particular set of NFTs. Okay, cool. So this particular set of NFTs is green, right? But does the you don't think that the website that you're directing people to does anything unethical?
I'm sure it probably does.
Like, man, this is what the point is.
Hold on. Do you think that if let's say I got sponsored to play CS:GO, like I think that there's a lot of I don't know how I feel about loot boxes in general. I don't agree that it's the same as NFT, but I don't think I feel that great about loot boxes. Would I never take a CS:GO sponsor because they sell loot boxes? Or what about like Twitch? Okay. What about when I solicit advertisements on Twitch and I run ads for them or I get subscribers? That money's going to Bezos at the end of the day. If I was a big union guy, am I betraying my principles? Like,
this is actually an interesting thing. Well, I mean, we have to survive under capitalism, and I think we agree with that. But do you think it's a very robust system? Capitalism is a good system if we have to violate our own personal.
Are we going to turn the Luna thing back on Destiny?
I don't know if that's a violation of my personal ethics. I don't know if I say that somebody taking a deal from some company necessarily endorses and supports every single statement that that company makes. I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay. I guess I just don't find it to be a terribly compelling argument
Nothing is going to compel you because you don't have a solid stance on any of this shit because you don't know what any of it is. Of course.
Okay. So what this conversation
we're doing this for like 10 more minutes. This has gone on for
that's fine.
Like,
that's fine.
Oh my god, he increased the time.
The entire thing is basically just me asking, hey, do you think that this is like shitty behavior? Do you think that you have any obligation to not be a shitty person? And your responses pretty much every time are, no, being shitty's fine.
Okay, so obviously you know where I stand in the issues of the debate. I mean, other than NFT, which I don't actually know enough to render a judgment here. Steven says it's environmentally neutral, so I mean I guess it's not like that would be the one problem that I would have. And then obviously if it's sold in a predatory way, which I don't know if it is or not, but the overall I feel like the way, so they're gonna somebody, I don't even know, Dylan's friends, right, are going to judge this, right? They're gonna do a boxing judging of points, right? And I am thinking that as it stands right now, Jake was winning in the first half. Destiny has probably turned it around and is unless something changes in the last few minutes, is gonna be declared the winner of Dylan's weird little contest. So
and that was
congrats, you're Dylan's best friend. No, you're actually, how about, let's put it this way, you're Dylan's friend's best friend. And who knows, maybe it's Danabo. Maybe Danabo is judging. Who knows?
That's sad, man. That's okay though.
Okay. Well, your argument of don't be mean to people, I just didn't find very compelling. And
why are you framing it like that, bro? Why is it just because it's too hard to actually engage with what I'm saying?
Tell me what I'm talking about.
You said it was very easy, and it should be easy. This is not a hard topic.
What is the moral obligation?
Being real mean to people? You think I'm talking about being a mean?
What's the difference between being real mean and being shitty, or being shitty and being toxic, or being real mean and kind of toxic?
I think it's.
Do you? I can't tell. Oh,
you know what's really fascinating about that is because that is a.
Yeah, you're still not answering the question.
Because that is a hard question to answer, because it doesn't take into account a lot of variables in regards to how we socialize with one another, who we're talking to, what the rapport is, etc., what the forum is. That's why it can't be just one answer. Again, if I said you have a small peepee, haha, and we were just joking around and we're friends or whatever, that's one thing. But saying you have a small peepee to someone that's maybe they're a trans mask person and they just got they just got sexual reassignment or something like that. that would be a more shitty thing to say, irrespective of your bants necessarily. Like, it's just because of the
Bants? What are bants? Anybody know bants?
different variables that go on there, and so when you frame it as just being
Like
a
banter?
meanie, like, I know you're doing that on purpose. Like why not just engage with what I'm actually talking about, which is
Because
genuinely
you don't have any.
behavior.
I can try to give you better talking points if we ever revisit this argument. Because
don't
you just
have
don't,
to
you
do
just don't
better.
understand. Well, but you're not really giving me anything to engage with. Like I don't know what to say. Like I don't know what you're. I don't know what you're telling me to do. I don't know what your compulsion is. I don't know what you're saying I'm doing is bad or wrong. Like I don't know where you even come. I'm not asking you for a specific line. Like, I draw the line right between autistic and total Neanderthal. This is where the. I'm not asking you for something that specific.
What?
What part of that didn't you understand?
I didn't any of it.
Autistic and
Oh
total
wait,
Neanderthal.
what? Really?
I'm not telling you to give me a specific
No.
line between everything over here is okay and everything here isn't okay. Does that make sense?
What? What?
Sure, I
still
guess I'm
don't
just caught up
understand.
on what autism and Neanderthal people.
They were just two random insults, and I said you draw the
Oh,
line.
they were
between
insults.
one.
Okay.
Oh,
So calling someone
okay.
autistic or calling someone a Neanderthal. I see. Okay.
Do you think that calling
As a
somebody
pejorative.
autistic in an argument is not an insult?
No, it is. I just didn't realize you were listing insults. I didn't really know what you were doing. That's why I was confused.
What are the other commonalities between
Oh my
autistic
God, this is
and
so-
people and Neanderthals besides being
Exactly.
an
I thought you were just being shitty to autistic people, which for a second, because of the way that came across. That's why I was asking. It's not a big deal. So
insult? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm curious.
Okay.
After this conversation, are you going to do anything about all the people in your chat calling me a gusano, or is that a cool thing in your chat?
in my chat, calling you. What are you talking about?
Was that a no? I'm just curious.
Are
It's
there
an
any-
easy
are there
thing to say.
people-
Like,
are there people in my chat saying things like that?
I mean, your mod is in chat saying like gusano's not a slur. So I was just curious if you had a strong opinion on it. But that's
Is
cool.
it? I don't. I've never.
Oh, you've never really? You've never? No idea? It's crazy how you guys like your minds go blank sometimes.
What do you
depending on the
mean?
topic.
What is that? Yeah, is that a thing? Who's saying it? And what does it mean?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not up on my slur game. Is that a thing?
It means meanie
Right.
pants in Cuban. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. That's all
Okay.
good.
All right. So, okay. So you're just gonna go with, you think I'm saying don't be a big meanie. That's what you're coming away with.
Until you've provided me a more specific
All right.
definition, yeah, it seems like.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either. Is it a? I'm very. People are saying it's from Cuba.
Mhm.
Is that a thing? Is that real?
Listen, it's all good, dude. I don't. I don't really know.
Well,
what else to say.
I don't know what the slur is, and I'm not seeing anyone say it. I'm looking through it.
I'll tell you what gusano means if you can tell me what an NFT is. Okay.
Okay, it's a non-fungible token. You can't funge it.
Cool. All right.
You
Good
can't
enough for
even.
Okay.
Is it a anti-Cuban thing? I don't know. Is it?
I mean,
I
it's
mean, I
funny because
genuinely
when I
don't
brought this up earlier as an example of like a Bad Bunny stream topic, you didn't stop and
Right.
ask me about it then. But then when I brought up an example,
Well, I
in
don't
your
know what it
city,
is.
now you're
Because
more-
I think if you go back and go there, I said, well, I don't know what that is, but we could steel man it, and you could say like, hey, I shouldn't also engage in that behavior. So we agree it's bad when someone else does it, but it's not bad when you do it. Is like the point. And then the.
Wait, do you think I'm
natural
engaged in
toxic
racial
cycle-
slurs against people? Wait, what?
Well, I mean, privately, yeah.
What is? Wait, this is a
Come
totally
on.
different conversation.
Come on.
And no, I don't call people slurs privately. No.
Well, yeah.
Okay. If you have evidence of me calling an individual a private slur, I'm curious, but okay.
Why would I have evidence? Well, you said it on your own stream.
I'm not in CC. Why would I have evidence?
Well, use the N-word privately. I think you meant in rap
Do you think
songs.
that, do you
in
think
the
that
hip-hop-
using slurs, like in a private joke or whatever, do you think that's the same thing as calling somebody a slur? Do you think it's the same thing?
Don't think it's the same, but I do think that you had a good conversation. Well, one person had a good conversation. You had a good conversation with a former friend of yours that explained it pretty thoroughly that I don't have to go.
Why are you
go
saying
over.
former friend of mine? Me and Triax are fine right now.
Are
But
you
that's
fine
cool
right
that you
now?
don't-
But like, well, he seemed very upset about that, and like, and you have
I wonder
conversations
why.
with one of my
Crazy.
friends
Maybe
about
if you
that.
maybe if you take a second and do a little bit of introspection, maybe you could figure out the problems aren't necessarily as simple as you seem to think they are sometimes. But
Problems aren't necessarily as simple as they think sometimes. I'm trying to turn this into like a theme song for what theme song am I trying to turn this into, chat? Do you know what I'm saying?
all right,
Okay. So I'm gonna. Okay. Wait. Okay. So you both will get like a minute to do ending things before the judges send me their results. Okay. So I'll let
the Carameras.
Yeah, let him
I was
go.
about to call you Cornflake again. I gotta stop. I let Jake do the intro, so I'll let Destiny do the first outro.
Yeah, I mean, like, this whole conversation has been like him like sliding down a building, like desperately trying to find a ledge. He's brought up like random people that I have like incredibly personal interactions with, but then every single time we dip into anything, it seems like he's unwilling to explode a little bit further because he realizes that none of the examples that he's bringing up is either necessary nor sufficient to justify any of the arguments that he's making. This happened over and over and over and over and over again. I can't even keep track of every example that he brought up, where every time he brings up a personal example of some moral failing of mine,
I feel like this is not a good try to like debate to like have. Listen, if you want to like your thing is you want to come on and you want to debate NCC bad, like you're gonna lose because I'm NCC. I'm the NCC expert. Okay, I kind of know things about NCC, right? That you might not be privy to, right? So it's kind of a it's not a level playing field, let's just say, right? And like, you know, this is what people wanted me to do with Xanderhall, to debate Xanderhall on whether Xanderhall has a harem in his Discord. And no, I am not equipped to make that debate. All right, okay, I am not a prosecuting attorney. That's not what a debate should. I don't know. This is a weird debate. I mean, I get why they did it because this is like this is the drama. This is what's hot, right? But it's so weird that it went into like just like let's debate Destiny's drama, kind of like, you know. And it's like, I don't know. This is a drama bait. This was a drama bait, kind of, and Destiny was on home turf, so yeah, I don't know if the last minute is going to be able to turn it around for Jake, you know, given what I know about the judges at Dylan's events. Like, I don't think it looks good for Jake here, right?
Says, well, I'm not talking about morality, or he says, well, I don't want to talk about
debate you
the specific thing, let's be more general. He just did it again, like at the very end of this conversation here, trying to bring up like a argument that I had with somebody else to try to get another point. I truly don't have a closing statement. I don't actually know what this argument was about. I'm actually looping. I feel like I'm in a drug-induced psychosis. I don't know if this is about being not toxic or mean, but I don't know what toxic is, and apparently that's way different than being mean. And I guess
look, corn is not toxic, okay?
It's not about like what we should do. It's just what it would be nice to do. Maybe we're using a little bit of Vosh language here. We're not talking about compulsion. We're talking about like supererogatory or whatever. Maybe I truly am lost at the end of this.
Okay.
I hope that the best parts of this debate make it as
about
NFT clippable moments on my apparently ongoing sponsor, who is now a title sponsor.
Wait, are you going to argue that I'm not vanilla, or that
to Eternal Destiny .gg? Welcome, guys, to the brand new NFT all day, every day website. And I actually have live footage of all of the forests that are burning down with the servers in the background that are churning through the information to make these NFTs possible. So thank you so much for the opportunity to do this.
Sure.
Actual Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't think I would get through to you.
It's not about winning. It's about dehumanizing we allowed along the way.
On the topic, I didn't think it would work, but I was sort of forced to talk to you anyway, even though I tried to reach out privately. But that's okay. But yeah, if you want to come hang out sometime and talk about something you actually disagree with, that'd be good. I do wish that. I do wish, just for the sake of the communities on the internet in general that you tend to interact with, I hope at some
Do I have cats?
point that you come away with the idea that you could probably grow a reasonably non-toxic community around you. There's lots of different things that you can do to, I don't know, just make it a less hostile environment. Like, you are the progenitor of a lot of the problems on this platform.
Oh my god, I think I said that exact thing to Destiny.
Specifically due to your popularity.
I don't know if I agree. Like, I was mad. I kind of yelled at him. I was like, this is your fault that we're this way. I legit said to Destiny, this is your fault that we're this way. Yeah.
And I
think it was with the me and Demon Mama thing. I
guess I wish that you were aware
kind of a weird champ thing to
that
say.
Or gave a shit about that. And I realized that like part of your worldview is like, I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna succeed where I can, like the NFL.
But I mean, there's like a truth to it. There's like a truth in that. Like, there's like, you know,
NFT thing is a good example of that, where you're like, I'm just gonna make my bag.
He is the like pioneer of a lot of this
You
stuff.
try to get the fuck out of here, like. Part
NCC has a possum
that
army?
I understand, right? But the other part of it is like you have a responsibility, in my opinion, and in the opinions of many other people,
possums and Care Bears,
to foster a community.
Believe it.
That has a little bit less of the bullshit that goes on. Like you said, that's just the way things are. You're part of the reason that that's the way things are, and you could, if you wanted to, make the big change there. It doesn't. This isn't a scenario where we have to go out and canvass people to try to change an election. You could just change your demeanor towards people.
Are you telling Destiny that he can change the way he? That he can change the way he lives?
People and make the internet and Twitch a
More
lot
like
better
a Care Bear cousin?
place, even with just your impact. And I know you're not the biggest streamer ever, but you're obviously popular. Like, talk about it. So like, it's just a thing where I don't know. It's just I'm more dejected about it than anything. I wanted to use this opportunity to talk to you about that, knowing that no matter what we talked about, it was just gonna...
Like, Jake is strangely trying to be real here, and I don't know if like I guess he's just trying to. Yeah, I guess he's just trying to talk to Destiny. Like, I don't. It sounds like he's not like really worried about the outcome.
It'd be a shit show if we tried to talk about a political topic specifically. So, like.
Dude, Destiny, you just have to play through Persona 2 Innocent Sin, okay? And you can change, you know, your life. Like, you will understand.
It never goes anywhere. I would absolutely love to see better communities in general on Twitch, better communities from everybody, because it's
Oh my God, I don't know. As a debate ender, this is like.
You know,
I feel like Jake's kind of just like had enough. Like,
I tend to have one of the better communities in my small space. We don't get, you know, as many views as you do, but we're very, very happy, man, and we just vibe, and it's a nice little chill scenario. And I guess, I don't know. Maybe I have too much hopium, dude. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just me being naive about you and about the internet in general. But
Destiny is the landlord?
Yeah. I don't think you should. I don't think anyone should come away with this feeling like really good about it, man. Like, every time I gave you an opportunity to be like, hey, do you think this is a shitty thing to do? You're like, yeah, but they did it first. It's like, all right.
Okay, wonderful. I'm now going to ask the judges for their votes.
Okay, I want to know
Get
who the
them
judges
and
were.
return to you
I
his
bet
answer.
CTV,
no matter who wins,
Danabo,
I
and Mr.
lose.
Geek, maybe.
So that's great.
It could be.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Also, what did you think of the cage match?
Great.
I only used one of them.
Oh yeah, you
True.
still have one. Wait,
You know what you should do?
Can
Can that
Use
be
it now,
invoked?
so that
Yeah,
there's
use
no
it now.
answer.
So it never ends. It never ends.
Okay. Cage man.
No,
One second, let me
no,
get the
don't actually do
results.
it. Don't actually do it. Kind of admire the effort from Jake, but entering into the kind of, yeah, I think it's an automatic loss. You allowed people like Destiny to spread their crap and sell the NFTs more. Like, I feel like. Wait, is that the music from this? Yeah.
One vote is in.
Okay, you know what? We're not gonna like play any like copyrighted music, because copyrighted music is bad.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty forgetful about a lot of things, huh?
Okay. Anyway,
Well, I don't really engage in this shit. So
You literally said in your closing that like there's a guy out of frame forcing you to have this debate. Like the gun is right off screen. Like I was forced to do this.
okay.
What?
Let's just have the vote done.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So,
Okay.
I want to be clear that this vote was done by 3 independent judges.
Who? Tell us.
oh, I see. I won the Hippy Dippy roundtable thing or something, and I felt obligated to Dylan, you know.
Okay. And I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I'm
that.
not saying I felt like I fucking had to do it. I'm just saying, like, you know, felt dumb not to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Was Haas CTV Haas and won of those lucky cat statues. Okay, I would believe that. A competition aspect is pointless. It's just a debate among people who Dylan yeah, that might be true. It's voting to see who the tough guy in your office is. No one cares.
I appreciate you creating the content in the corn soup.
It's a big game to Dylan.
Now, whoever wins will be facing CTV.
What? Wait, this isn't the champ. Wait, this isn't the belt?
For the belt, since he won the undercard tonight and he's the #1 challenger. Now, I will say...
What? Wait, I thought this person won the... Okay, then how is this the championship? What? I don't understand.
That this was probably the most frustrating debate to moderate. And no matter who wins, I lose, okay?
Yeah.
And these decisions were made completely without my influence. The first... Now, it is a split decision on who won tonight. These split decisions can be produced by a number of factors. It can be because people judge matches differently. It can be because certain people have undisclosed biases. It can be any number of reasons. So, the first judge voted for Destiny. The second one voted for Jake. And the last vote, the integral vote, the tipping vote, ended up going
Stop with the music.
to Destiny, who retains the belt as the third defense of the belt. I think the third match for
Wait.
the belt.
Did he say who the judges were? Did anybody say who the judges were?
Breaking Vosh's record.
Hell yeah, dude. Good job.
Well, it's been an interesting debate, and I think there was a lot of very interesting and unique
Will be the challenger to the winner between...
discourse that came out, or very specific discourse as well, if we want to put it that way. Destiny, how are you feeling now that you've won this debate?
It's just probably one of the crowning moments of my life. I'm actually overwhelmed with emotion right now. I can't even show it.
Yeah, buddy.
What do you plan on doing to celebrate?
I'll probably, honest to God, pop open a thing of wine.
A thing of one, yeah.
Hop on my Twitter account and just be toxic all night long, I think, towards random people.
Wait, your Twitter account? You're saying that you have a Twitter account right now?
Oh,
thought you
yeah.
were
It's your friends, right?
2 followers, I just made it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems pretty weird that you have a Twitter account now all of a sudden. I'm glad Twitter unbanned you.
Are you gonna unblock me from it?
Think about it.
Hell yeah.
Jake, how are you feeling right now? Do you feel like, what do you feel coming out of this debate?
Same way I went into it.
He means boss.
I don't know. I never expected to really like gain any ground with Destiny here. I don't know. I just hope that people realize
Redeem
that they
isn't
have
one of the judges?
an impact on other people. And
We don't know.
really
Nobody
love to
knows.
see,
Nobody knows.
You know, more of
We
a.
can only imagine.
I don't know. More of a
JLP, Danabo, and
reasonable and
Lauren
nice,
Southern.
sort of go of it sometimes. Like, there's a lot of performative bullshit that a lot of us do because we feel obligated for clicks and money
What does Jake mean by performative bullshit, uwu?
and subscribers and shit like that. And I don't know. I think it's a really cynical outlook, and kind of hope that that changes in some ways. But that's just
There are no
my
judges.
pipe dream shit. I'm guaranteeing it.
Gotcha. I felt like this debate was up in the air, and I felt like it was very close on both ends. Jake, I'm just wondering, have any plans beyond this for your stream, or is there any elements for your stream that you plan on doing afterwards? Any elements of Medico? Any elements?
Okay, you know what? I'm done with this. Are you done with this? Because I'm done with this. Are you done with this? So somebody mentioned wanting to take a look at the stuff between Curio and Bosch. I was thinking about maybe doing that on Twitch this afternoon. Panovation. I have no idea. You'd have to ask Destiny's friend, because it's Destiny's friend who has the account, right? It's Destiny's friend. Of course, that's what they meant. They meant to say Destiny's friend. Destiny meant to say Destiny's friend. He didn't mean me. He meant the friend. The friend would be doing this, not Destiny. But he said himself, but he meant his friend. How is 2-1 a split decision? Wait, it's not, right? Because a split decision would be like... Is it a split? It is a split decision. Okay. So that does make sense. Why did I think a split decision was like... Yeah, because it can't be 50-50. Can it? But yeah, Destiny's friend is Sargon of Akkad, currently on his 12th account. Bosch said Marxism-Leninism is the moderate wing of fascism. What a clown. And yeah, this was Sophie and Bosch kind of, and a whole bunch of other people, and it was gross. It was bad. It was toxic. But yeah, I guess we'll go over to Twitch now. So if you want to follow me, I'll go ahead and like end this stream and start that one pretty soon, so that I can get my stream over early tonight, right? And maybe this is gonna be like the streaming time. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, and make sure to like and subscribe, and do all those other things that you do that make it easier for me to run my show, to run this show, to filter this garbage into like pure like spice melange. That's what I do for you, chat. I convert the poisonous waters of the maker into the waters of life. So if you appreciate that sort of thing, you know how to show that appreciation, right? There's a lot of ways, whether you can do so with actual financial contribution, or just like one of those buttons that you hit that goes bing, or whatever. Those are all helpful things, and yeah, just do what you can. Meow. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you over on Twitch, and tell Booksmarts that I never do anything performatively. Meow.